Oh, God. All right. And there's the verse. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Looks like Zenlin got in here ahead of everybody else and smashed that first button. That's right. They are today's index. Byte number 0. The first one in here and the one who's hit that button ahead of everybody else. But how is that surprising? Zenlin's usually on top of that button before anybody else is. You guys are going to have to get faster if you want to one day be the index for the evening. Oh, it's such a good time. But this party, like all other parties, have been for the first to hit that button. And tonight it is Zenlin. It's a good time. It's a good evening. We are getting ready. We have a fantastic guest star up on the docket for tonight. But for right now, we're going to have a good time with this little party. Ooh, get down. Yeah. Gonna have funky. We love this party, right? It's a good time. I hope you all are having a good time. We have a Grand Slam guest lined up for you tonight. You are not going to believe this. Thank you, Zenlin, for hitting that button. And welcome, welcome. I hope you guys are ready. Guys, believe it or not, it is that day again. That's right, Talk Tuesday. We're back around for another week of fantastic, amazing discovery. Hello, Taya. Still stuck on Story Saturday. I would say refresh because everything I have says it's Talk Tuesday. Thanks. Welcome in. Yes, everything on my screen says it's Talk Tuesday. I would say refresh. Welcome in, welcome in. I hope you guys are ready. We have a fantastic guest star on the docket for tonight. You know him, you love him. How are you going to deal without it? But we'll go ahead. I am doing fantastic. My phone day, it's it's all right, gentlemen. It's all right. Tonight's special guest makes the hive come alive. This casual gamer turned internet heartthrob is the absolute bee's knees of all the honey trees. From vampire therapy to master battle strategist in PG3, it is a mystery to all who know how epic this bee can be. When he's not slapping balls around in a golf course, this master moderator can be found making the scene and keeping his friends sweetened up. From games to mental health, it's okay. We're going to put this epic streamer on a pedestal. This fantastic streamer has all the tools to keep you feeling safe in their very chill and safe vibe of their streams. You know you can survive with this streamer at your side. Tonight's awesome and quite frankly gorgeous guest is the buzz around the scenes, and I present to you all the fabulous. Ooh, we're getting rated. Hang tight, folks. Braid. Who do we have rating? It's a rose. Wow, really? That one? Old man, you're coming in. I see that. It's a rose raid just in time. Welcome in. Welcome in. It is just fine. All right. Since you guys have just missed it, you're just here in time for the beginning. Oh, thank you for the follow. We'll do tonight's introduction once more time. So this is unusual for us, and we're probably going to make Bees blush a little bit more, but that's all right. We're going to do the intro one more time. Sorry, Bees. Hang on. Tonight's special guest makes the hive come alive. This casual gamer turned internet heartthrob is the absolute bee's knees of all the honey trees. From vampire therapy to master battle strategist in PG3, it's a mystery how epic this bee can be. When he's not slapping balls around the golf course, this master moderator can be found making a scene and keeping his friends sweetened up. From games to mental health, it's okay. We're going to put this epic streamer on a pedestal. This fantastic streamer has all the tools that you need to keep you feeling safe and very chill in their vibing stream. You know you can survive with this streamer at your side. Tonight's awesome and quite frankly gorgeous special guest is the buzz around the scenes. I present to you all the fabulous and amazing Jerry Bees. Jerry Bees, welcome to Talk Tuesday.
Hello. What's up, Nori? I'm definitely blushing from having to hear that intro twice. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction.
Well, you know, we got rated, and I was at the end of it. I'm like, no. Well, the Raiders coming in. We'll go back and do it again so they can get in on that. We would hate for them to miss out on such a fabulous introduction, right? So while we're still here on the main screen, let's go down some rules so everybody knows. For anybody new here to Talk Tuesday, the way this works is there are channel point redeems. It's a one single point, so anybody can do it. All you have to do is just pop in here. You get 10 channel points, which means you have 10 questions you can ask our fabulous guest stars. Ask them whatever you like. Don't worry about trying to keep up with the questions as they come in, B. Sometimes chat can get really fast and furious. I have a little program that is capturing all of these questions ahead of time to save us the trouble. So they get written down in a little sidebar off to the side, and I have it. And the other thing is that lets me read the questions ahead of time, because I like to make certain we're not asking things that are going to like dox you or things that I'm like, no, even I wouldn't ask that question. How dare.
I appreciate that.
You know, Zoda likes to come in here and get everybody's social security number. Again, Zoda, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. That's all you get. Figure it out for the rest of that. So So yeah, I wouldn't worry about the questions. I let me deal with the questions. You're welcome to talk at the chat if you want to watch chat as it goes by. You're also welcome to do the puzzle, which I can already see you're doing that already. Exclamation puzzle for anybody new around here. That's how you get a link to the puzzle to come join us.
It was a mistake. It was a mistake to put the puzzle in front of me.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So I think
actually,
after.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go.
Nope.
Go.
No.
You started.
No,
you
I
started.
was just gonna say we at the practice that I work out, we keep a puzzle out, like a jigsaw puzzle, out on the table in like the waiting area. And sometimes I'll come out to get a client, and they'll be like really focused on something. I'm like, do you need to do the puzzle for a couple of more minutes?
It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, no, the only other nope questions are the nope questions are not allowed. I don't know what a nope question is. But as we're going through the questions, if I ask you anything that you aren't comfortable answering for whatever reason, you don't need to give us a reason. You are welcome to say no. I'm not answering that, or negative, or whatever that you want, and we will skip, pivot, and grab another question and move right along like it never happened. Don't feel like you have to answer everything that comes through to you. You only answer things that you are comfortable answering. Okay? And I think with that, we've covered all of the really important key points to this. Otherwise, it's just you and me for the next 3 hours. And believe me, turn around twice and it's going to be done and over with before you even realize it. So, are you ready?
I am.
If so, all right. Well, then, chat, I present to you the fabulous, the amazing, the incomparable, the supremely handsome Mr. Jury Bees.
Blush. I hate this game. I'm kidding.
It's fine. It's fine.
Only a little bit. I only hate it a little bit.
It's fine, right? It's what we do around here. I think we made Naki blush. I think we have a tag question down there for anytime you go, ooh, that's a good question, or you kind of hem and haw from answering a question. That's what the exclamation tag is for. But I think last time we turned it into a Naki blush counter, because every time she blushed, we just incremented. We're just like, no, it's just, there you go, tag.
I feel like that's a game I've played on Naki's stream. Just like, chat, how can we make Naki blush today?
Right? Yeah, let's just color changing Naki. I'm here for it. We'll snooze that for right now. That's fine. We got new people. All right. So, first two questions. So I get to answer. We're going to ask you the first couple of questions to get this whole conversation started while chat gets warmed up and decided on what deep diving conversational topics that they want to. Oh yeah, we got a ton of them out there. They're all hanging out. They're dying to get their hands on you. But I'm beating them off currently with a stick because I get the first two questions and they have to sit back. So, what got you started streaming? Like, what ultimately was the catalyst that makes you turn on the stream and go, you know what? I am going to put myself out there and say hi to the world.
To say, just seeing friends do it and have so much fun. I started around the same time as a couple of other people. I think Naki was one of the first people that I started watching streams of when she had just kind of started getting back into it. And then Dell, the wonderful Starry Dell, who was just on Talk Tuesday as well, started streaming and asked me to be her moderator, which was great. And then it all just kind of snowballed from there. I was like, this sounds like fun. I probably won't get a lot of followers, and that's okay. I'm not really doing it as to like make Twitch my job or anything. Just wanted to have fun and hang out with all the cool little people in my computer.
There's a lot of really cool people in the computer too, right? I mean, I have met a ton since starting my journey as a streamer here on Twitch.
Mhm.
Been absolutely
Yeah,
fabulous
I
so
think.
far.
Yeah, I think all these. It feels kind of like there's this corner of Twitch that we've created, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger with more lovely people, which has just been great to be one small part of.
Right? It is the best kind of feeling. Um,
Hmm.
uh, best mod in the whole world and best streamer on the internet, right? Well, you got him right here in the channel.
Ma'am. So.
you can ma'am all you want. I have been in those streams. Like I tell everybody, right?
Bates.
I get in there in every guest star on Talk Tuesday. I go and spend a lot of time hanging out in their streams to get to know them and their community and whatnot. Because I think it well, number one, I've got to come up with the welcome to Talk Tuesday bit at the front end, and it always feels a little disingenuous to say things about somebody that if I don't believe them or haven't been a part of their fantastic atmosphere. And I can say it's very well deserved. The amount of heapings of praises that you are getting from everybody is really kind of interesting. I love the fact that everywhere you go, you show up and everybody is like spazzing out bees.
Oh.
or had you not noticed that?
I feel like it's just become like an automatic wait, where? Run.
Bees! Right. They're excited for you, man. They love seeing their favorite bees. The bees.
Well,
yes.
I love seeing folks. I love going in people's streams and their discords and just saying hi and trying to be the most supportive little bee that I can be. So
well, it seems to be working out in your favor. So we'll put it that way. So your second question, because that was a very it's a very succinct answer.
That's me. That's me.
It's fine, right? Sometimes your intro, your origin story for getting started is not spectacular. Some people are like, yeah, I did it because I felt like for me, I turned on the stream just because I felt like it. Like that's not really much of an intro story. Like who cares? So it just happens to be one of those things. It's fine. But
hopefully I can get more interesting answers as we go along.
Oh, we're going to go down many rabbit holes in over the next course of 3 hours, dude. You have no idea. I have been doing Talk Tuesday long enough to know that we will be down many and to make you feel better, we'll cover this ahead of time. This is an over 18 stream, right? This is tagged adult stream. So if you're worried about your language, I'm going to tell you not to worry about your language. If you're trying to figure out how to censor yourself, I'm going to tell you, don't even worry about that. If you want to curse, you go ahead and curse. It's just fine. And sometimes we get a little spicy in these chats. I said, okay, a little probably being generous. But that being said, the name Jury Bees, where did you come up with that from?
Yeah, so Jory is just my name, which I also gave to myself. Didn't like the one I was given. Chose that one instead, and now it's what I get to officially go by, and I really like it. And then, well, I guess Jory Bees, to kind of like go back a little bit, is for a long time, like probably close to a decade, I went by a different handle on like all of my social media. And which was just kind of like a very shortened version of my name at the time. And then when I changed my name and started transitioning, I was like, I need to change my handle. And so there were a few that I tried, like, a couple that I had maybe used as like alts or things like that that weren't really
Right.
fitting, and so I used my first name Jory, and then Bees comes from so I used to used to being a big part of this, but I used to play roller derby, and Bees was part of my roller derby name. Which, if you don't know anything about roller derby, it's kind of like WWE wrestling or
I
even drag or whatever. Like people don't often go by their government names. They usually come up with some sort of kind of like hopefully fun or badass sounding name to go by instead. And so my name when I played roller derby was Nunya Beeswax, spelled with a Z and three X's. And and then there's always like some sort of nickname that people give you, and
that's fantastic.
Bees was the nickname. So I just combined it with Jory, and now we have Jory Bees. And then the whole bees thing is because I also really like bees, like the insect. I'm actually a beekeeper, and talked about, just talked about it enough for it to become part of my roller derby name. So
I'm sorry. I'm laughing, but I'm not laughing at you or anything. I'm sorry. I'm laughing because my college English professor was a roller derby, and I learned an awful lot of roller derbying during my English class when I was. She would tell us all about her matches, and then tell us we can't go to any of her matches. She's not allowed to have her students at her matches, but she would tell us all about her matches.
I was thinking about that because I was like, if I were a professor, I would not advertise to my students that I play roller derby.
So I wasn't laughing at you, I promise.
And where I still actually playing roller derby, I would not. That's not something I would like advertise to clients either. So I mean, what a way to learn. Did you learn any actual English in your?
Not a bit. Not a bit. No.
Great. Amazing.
Nope. No. Learned all about how she took hits and everything else, and we learned all about the pain in the neck other teams that she had to go against and whatnot. But no, almost no English. Occasionally, if she did really well, she would bring in the film capture for the game, and we would watch her play. Like that was how we got to see her play. Was she would bring it in? She would bring in the television and the VCR and hook that up and be like, okay, here you go. Now watch this maneuver.
Wow. Dedication.
But then she's like, you can't show up to the games, but here, I can show you the games. It's fine, right? It was fantastic.
Oh my god.
Hi Squirrel, thank you for the lurk. Yes. So I'm not, again, it wasn't laughing at you. Like, yeah, I used to do rollerball. I'm like, oh my word. Like small world.
No, I'm like giving Nori like traumatic flashbacks to college. Like I just want to read Hamlet.
No. You're just fine. It was a funny thing. And I hadn't, it's one of those things I hadn't thought about for in an age, because, why go and think about college when you don't have to be in college?
Right.
So I survived college. I was happy. I got in, I got out, I got my degree. And, I spent an awful lot of money to get a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of how that works.
Not we all, but also.
Yeah. Do you ever find that you regretted spending the money on that piece of paper?
My undergrad, no. I had a very good undergrad experience. I was an English major, actually. And college was where I really first started becoming my own person, I felt like. And I had some amazing friends and experiences, amazing professors and mentors. I loved that time of my life. And even though I feel like I have still grown so much from that time over the past, Jesus, it has been 10 years now, over the past decade since I graduated from undergrad. And I think me 10 years ago would not recognize me now necessarily, or, would be astonished that I'm kind of at where I am now. But it was, I don't regret the money that I spent on it, or the federal government's money that I spent on it.
Well, you definitely
school,
got it. Grad school's another question.
It's not. I don't. I mean, obviously, to be counselor, I had to get a degree to do that, and I don't regret that. But also the way I did like a dual master's program with like 2 degrees and everything. And I might, if I had it to do over, I might forgo that particular experience and just go like for the counseling degree. But
yeah. That's the fancy thing about life, right? As you live, you learn, and hindsight's always 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but one way or another, this is where I am. This is where I am now. So
yeah,
I'm glad to be
here. No regrets. Well, I don't have any regrets because the choices you've made have brought you here, and I can speak for at least myself. I've enjoyed your company immensely. So, don't change.
Thank you. Enjoying being here.
The fabulous bees, right?
I don't know about fabulous, but
you'd be surprised. You would be surprised. Let's see. Ooh, some heartfelt ones out there.
The puzzle.
Oh, you're fine. Naki's like, you shouldn't have put the puzzle in front of me. This is like all Naki did. She got absolutely soaked in.
Bates, thank you.
We all love the fabulous bees.
I'm like going to back to chat now and reading about like Little Lunar Rabbit. Yeah, roller derby is a ride. I don't know if I would want people who know my government name watching me play it.
Why am I? Oh. Yes. Oh, okay. They're all spazzing. So yes, I have a little. It's the first time using it, so there's a little PNGer up in the corner that was created for me by Dat Crodo. It's actually getting its debut today here. It's the first time using it. He's like, you know what you need? You need a little no rhythm guy sitting up here talking with his coffee in hand, reading from his little sheet on your Talk Tuesdays, and so
I love that.
There we go.
That looks like me in a therapy session.
So yeah, so he created that over the weekend and sent it over to me, and I'm like, all right, I will absolutely use it. He's like, you don't have to use it. I'm like, you don't understand, dude. I made a rule up. If anybody sends me something to use, it's going to get used. Mm-hmm. Like there's no questions on. There's no questions about it. It's going to get used. Use it or don't use it. It's getting used. Yep. It's it's a good image. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, it looks great. Mine is just like a little honeycomb with a bee in it that I made in Canva. And I just have it to like flash on and off when I talk. Whenever I'm using it. So this is like advanced PNGer.
You're telling me. I was surprised when he's like, here you go. These are the images that you need. He sent me like an entire write up for the setup of how to get this thing working. And I'm like, okay, wow. My Talk Tuesday just got a facelift.
Hey.
But it's all good. It's I was scrolling back up to myself and I was like, what is this Vox? What are they talking about? A Vox now, huh? Oh, right. The PNG got it.
Yes. Oh, and Vox, I guess, has been Intel, right? what they're referring to when they say box.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming. Hi, Ghostface. Welcome in. Thank you for the lurk. Yes, quite the collection of fabulous people here just to see little old you.
little me.
Yes, the fabulous beast. Yeah,
folks. You're here. Ask me the questions.
That was, I was. Now, okay. So, what was your favorite? What was your position that you played in on your derby team? Because we're down into this weeds now.
Oh God. So I didn't play for very long. I started playing after I moved to my current city, and as just something to have to do that wasn't grad school. I'm mostly blocked. I was a blocker, and that was a lot of fun to get to kind of like just throw myself up against folks. Yeah. But my derby career is no more. Sadly, I think when I might go back at some point to volunteering. I just haven't. I've just been so crazy busy with work lately.
Right.
Volunteering as like an NSO, just a non-skating official, or maybe maybe a ref at some point. But I've had 2 major orthopedic injuries and subsequent surgeries, and so the playing part is no longer
not happening. Got it.
Yeah, I tore my ACL, and then 4 years later broke my ankle, shattered it very spectacularly.
Yeah, that couldn't have felt good.
No, I don't recommend breaking your ankle ever, because then you don't get to walk on it for like 3 months. You don't get to walk at all for like 3 months.
Yeah, no. So. Your movements are being restricted heavily. Like.
So, but I am pleased to say I have like recently started skating again, just for fun in the rink. Which it's nice to go into like a dark, air conditioned place and just roll around in circles for a while. So that's been fun.
I haven't gone roller skating in so long. Like, when was the last time I was actually in the ring? So I don't roller skate. I rollerblade. I never could do the skates, like the 4-wheel side by side in that double pair. I kill myself. Like, I will break my ankle and fall over in like 2 seconds on one of those. However, moving to an inline, I take off on those like I've been doing it my entire life. I used to go down to the skate park and do inline at the skate park right alongside the guys doing all of the board maneuvers and whatnot.
Very nice.
Those were fun. Nice. Those are fun days. But yeah, you don't do inline in derby. That doesn't mix well.
No, it doesn't. And it was funny to see like folks, because kind of the way like roller derby works is that a local team will hold kind of like an information session, and they invite everyone to come. And the thing with roller derby is that even if you know how to roller skate, which is a bonus, you still have to learn how to play derby. And the way you skate for derby is different than just like artistic skating or dance skating or skating around the rink or whatever.
Right.
And so even if you kind of already have some skating skills, you have to learn an entirely new set for derby. And so they just they kind of invite people to kind of come and roll around, and you go through a training program before you start actually playing a bout. So yeah, but it was funny to see people who are like, oh well, I rollerblade. That must be really similar, right?
No.
But they did okay. They did all right. We all have to go through that baby giraffe stage. It's fine. The first time I went to like a roller derby interest meeting. They were like, "Do you want to try skate?" I'm like, "I don't have any of my own gear." They're like, "That's okay. We have gear that you can borrow." And it was someone's skates that were like a size and a half too small for me. and like the oldest, like rattiest, stinkiest set of gear ever. And I like could barely make it around without falling. And I was so devastated. I was like, oh my God, they're not even gonna let me join because I'm so bad at skating. So they had like a tryouts, which it wasn't like show us how good you are at derby. It was basically just like show us that you can skate okay and fall down without causing a catastrophic accident. And that was like 2 weeks after that first meeting. And I think I went to the rink probably, 9 or 10 times in those 2 weeks to practice with a friend who was on the team to practice skating and get to where I could actually, be a presentable part of the team. So yeah,
I can do it. I swear I can. Watch. Hey, as long as you were having fun, right? I mean, that's the important bit.
Yeah. I probably hadn't skated since I was like 12 years old, though, because I remember being a kid going to the skating rink and like having your birthday at the skating rink.
Oh my word! Yes,
and the skating rink in the town that I grew up in, I think it's actually closed down now, which is sad. But it was virtually untouched from like the 80s when we went, and it was awesome. And it was actually a polished concrete rink, which is very fun to skate on.
Oh, those are gorgeous. Yes.
Yeah, it was the best. It was a lot of fun. They had a great arcade. They had this very central like concession stand and everything. It was pretty fun, especially when you're 10.
I'm like, that takes me back. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the polished concretes were always fantastic. Especially you get on those and just like a little bit of effort, and you could do like shoot the duck for ever, because you could just roll.
You just keep going.
Like there is no stopping.
Nope.
Kidding me?
What are breaks?
Okay, the only breaks are turn your skate sideways and then try not to fall on your face because you you pushed down too hard.
Yep. I remember when I finally I could not figure out how to stop for the longest time, and when I finally got it, it was a good feeling.
Oh yeah, the very best feelings. Like, well, learning to do anything, right? When you finally hit that accomplishment hump, where yes, I have succeeded at this thing that I have been working at for so long. There's always a really good positive. There's a nice positive feedback from that. A bit of endorphin hits, that sort of thing.
Another big one for me was turning around. Like to skate backwards or making a 180 transition or making a full 360 transition.
Right.
That was the biggest thing for me, because Lizard Brain was like, absolutely, you are not turning around. You have wheels on your feet. You can't turn around.
You're supposed to be going one direction, the direction you're looking.
Yep.
What is this? What are you talking about? Turn around. No, we're not going backwards.
We don't turn around.
That's not how that works. Excuse you. What are you thinking? No, I remember those days well. I miss those days a little bit.
Really into skating. Yeah, people got really into skating during the pandemic, though. Like roller skating and rollerblading got really big again.
Interesting. I don't remember that ever becoming a big thing.
There was a hot minute for about 3 or 4 months where you couldn't buy roller skates because they were sold out everywhere.
That must not have been where I was at, sort of thing, because where I was at, everybody basically stayed in their house.
Yeah. Well, I think that was like the thing is that because people weren't out and about like driving around, people like were like skating, like people, like not people going to skating rinks, like people skating like in their driveways and down their streets and things like that.
That may be. When they told us to hunker down and lock up, I went, oh, this is like going back to my childhood. Sure, no problem. I can lock the door and just stay here for hours on end. I've got a computer. I've got games. I've got television. I've got a fridge full of snacks. I'm good.
No, I definitely did some pandemic skating as well. Went to even like if we went to like the skate park, everyone would be all masked up and everything. But the big thing in my neighborhood was there were a few roller skaters, but it's also a little bit hilly, so not not always the safest choice. But I remember just every day the drone of power tools because all the dads were stuck inside. It was like time to make all of my landscaping dreams come true.
More like time to get rid of that honey-do list before she drives me nuts. or at least if I'm working on the honey-do list, she'll leave me alone so I get some peace and quiet. One of the two. It's
yeah, but no, there were many. It felt like people were mowing their lawns every 3 days just to get outside.
I can believe that. That's easy enough to see as being a regular thing. Miss Rose would like to know if you could time travel, when and where would you like to go?
Oh my god. I feel like that's a question that we've all been asked at some point as part of an icebreaker, and I should have an answer. I'm gonna have to think about it for a minute. I don't know. It's so. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think about going back in time. Like maybe I would go forward in time. You know, I want to see. It would be not like the near future, like when am I gonna die or anything like that. But like can I fast forward to like Star Trek times? I think that would be really fun. If I had to go back in time, I'm not sure.
I'd be honest with you, I would be terrified to go forward. Back in time, fine. Forward? Because we don't know what the forward is going to look like, right? So you could jump ahead in time. Like I'm not going backwards. I'm gonna zip forward, and you could zip forward, even say 100 years from now, and there's nothing.
True.
You could zip forward into a time where the Earth no longer exists by accident, so now you're floating in space. Like to me, forward in time is kind of terrifying. Like we're already moving forwards in time, which I'm not going to get started on on time right now because I got involved in a conversation about time. And the paradoxical nature of time and the fact that the way we see time is incorrect. Because all time is a measure of distance travel. It's not actually of anything meaningful, and time is really just a human concept. Because we're like, oh, we track daytime, right? So daytime is 24 hours. Well, that 24 hours is just the distance we travel around the sun. Like we're literally just or the distance traveled that the Earth spins as we go around the sun, and that's the course of a year. So yeah, it's.
I guess it depends on who I'd want to meet. Going back in time. I don't know.
So yeah, I think going back would be far more interesting because you could go back and have. You could go back in time and have a conversation with Sir Isaac Newton or Thomas Edison, be like, yo, why did you decide to do that stupid thing with your power setup? Like, hello.
I guess the thing is, like, the question when it comes to time, either going backwards or forwards, is the potential changing of history question. Like, if you go backwards in time and you accidentally change something, then you change the history that's already happened. And then if you go forward in time, you see a potential history that could play out, and so you do something to prevent it. And that's, I guess, the big sci-fi paradox of time travel that we're always presented with. But I think it would be cool to go back and depending on who you want to meet. But I guess it's also, if you tend towards more of like the sort of golden age thinking of such and such time was better. But I think it's hard to say, I think obviously there are, many modern, wonderful modern technologies, medicines, and things that we have that are just are objectively good things. And I don't know. I think it's hard to say like whether certain times are better or worse than others. Or like the idea that like the current time or the modern time is always better than past periods, because I feel like it so much depends on the context, the culture, what's going on, what's changed about humanity, what hasn't. Sometimes the answer is like it's not better or worse, it's just different.
Perspective plays a big important part into everything that happens. And that's just kind of the way that which is interesting, because I mean, perspective colors a lot of the decisions that we make and the things that we do. And perspective is always colored by your opinions, or not opinions, excuse me, your experiences, whether growing up, whether taught, whether learned, that sort of thing. So perspectives are fun things. But here's the thing that I would posit to you, right? Let's say you could go backwards in time, and let's take out we'll take out paradoxes, because what we'll say is well, time has happened. Well, no. So we'll say time has happened. So it's impossible for you to make a change in the past, right? So let's say you went back and you decided you're going to talk to the guy who invented plastics, right? And you gave him the formula for inventing plastics. Well, in the course of a non-paradoxical universe where time is a constant, it's a thing that's always happened. It has always happened that way, and it can only ever happen that direction. Means that you were always slated to go back in time to give him the recipe for plastic, and so you were actually ipso facto the inventor of plastic. But it was always going to be that way, because all time happens all at the same time, and it doesn't really matter. Right. So it's possible for you. So in this particular instance, it's possible for you to go back in time and become your own grandfather. Not saying that anybody should, but you could. But that would always have happened that way. It would always continue to happen that way. And that's because all time happens at the same time all the time. So if we take out paradoxes, right, now you can go and have
the linear paradox. Yeah.
Right. Now you can go have any conversation with anybody that you want to have. You can go meet anybody that you want to meet, and run off into whatever sunset, oblivion, or anything else that you want to do. Where do you start?
Off into the sunset. Oh my god, run off into. I'm just picturing like running off into the sunset. So the question. So all of that is to say, your question is, who from history would you run off into the sunset with? Is that the question?
Yeah, just go back in time, go find somebody, go be just chillax with them, be like, it doesn't matter what I do with you, because I was always slated to do it with you, and who cares?
Yeah. Oh, there's so many people to choose from.
This is why people are like, don't let Nori interview you, because he'll find loopholes to the questions, and you thought you were getting out of them. Yeah, chances are that's not happening.
I feel like an answer. I feel like depending on whenever you ask me this question, I might like give a different answer every time. There's no like definitive like one person.
That's fair.
I would want to meet. But I think, thinking about right now, I've been thinking ahead to October. One, because I have surgery coming up that I'm gonna be spending a good bit of time recovering from. So I'm thinking of like all the things I want to do, like for recovery during that time. Like, what are the games I want to play? What are the books I want to read? Like all of those things. But also, I like to
Right.
read kind of spooky books in October. And last year I read Dracula, or reread Dracula, since I've read it multiple times now. But a book I haven't read in a while is Frankenstein, and so I think that's going to be one of my October reads. And so I don't know. Thinking about that, I might. Right now, the answer is Mary Shelley. I think it would be cool to go back and just chill with her, have a time, see what that's like.
Fascinating.
This teenager who invented science fiction, or maybe not invented it. If not invented it,
contributed. I would say science fiction has been around for quite some time.
Yeah, but kind of sort of modernly, like our more modern sense of it. I think some of that started with her, not exclusively, but a teenager who contributed very greatly to our our sense of it in terms of novels, at least. I don't know. I think that would be interesting.
It would be a fun conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, I'd go back and talk. I'd sit around and
give her a break from Percy and Lord Byron.
See, I'd go back and talk to Isaac Asimov. I am a huge Isaac fan.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, I think that would be a fantastic. It would be a really interesting conversation to have with the guy.
Oh, I agree, 1,000%.
But I like going back and talking to authors. I had always wanted to write my own book. I just never got around to it, and I don't think I ever will get around to it.
What makes you say that?
Time.
Well, yeah, sure. Sure. It does take time to do this.
Well, so one of our earlier Talk Tuesday guest stars, in fact, the guy who made the image update that we're all looking at, Dak Croto, is an author. He spent 2 years writing his book.
Wow.
And getting it published and everything else. And I'm like, I don't know that I have 2 years to invest, let alone do I have a story that I can sit around and write for 2 years on. I am so scatterbrained as it is right now. I would get like 1 or 2 chapters in and be like, I'm bored with this. What's the next thing?
Very fair. Very fair.
So
my uncle's an author, writes books. I mean, he does other things too, but he sends, each book is like years in the making for him.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to do so. There's so much that goes into writing a book. There's character details. You have to have the idea of the story. Then you have to have the plot, and your characters have to grow inside the story that you're telling. Because if they don't grow, then your reader has nobody really to attach to. And if your readers don't attach to the characters, then they're not enjoying the story, and they're not going to want to continue to read the story. And congratulations, you have written a book that nobody wants to read.
Have you had any like encounters with that kind of book recently?
Actually, the sad part is so I do Storied Saturdays, right? So we have there's a website.
Right.
Readsy that I go to. They have like 25,000 short stories that people submit all the time in there as part of a contest that they run. And so we've been going through and reading these stories as it goes through there. And so these are, 500 word short stories. They're not long reads. And there have been a number of these where we get started into it. And I'm like the third paragraph in, and I'm just reading the words at this point. I'm like, what is this that I'm even reading?
Happening?
Yeah, and I am so lost in the story, even from reading it. I'm like, I just don't know, and I am no longer interested because I have no idea what I'm even reading anymore. And like, nope, sorry guys, we're skipping this story and moving on to another one.
Yeah.
And so I think even in a point of a short story, which I think you have a much harder time because you really have to do that development, that hook to keep your readers early and quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And,
I mean, if you can't grab someone in 500 words, then you're not going to do it in 5,000.
Exactly. And I have read some books where I can't even get through the summary at the front end, like the little synopsis that they give you, like, oh, here's what the story's kind of like. Here's some of the writing that you can expect. And like, I'm like, no, 3 sentences in, I just, no, just put that back on the shelf.
Not for me.
And there's a lot of science fiction writers out there, and you're like, oh, there's a plethora. I mean, anybody can make a science fiction story. All you have to do is do something mechanical, magical, or whatever, and hey, goes into science fiction section. There you go, knock yourself out. Should be a good read, and that's just not the case.
Anyone can do it, but not everyone should, or not everyone can write. One that will
anyone can write. I just don't think everyone can write something we want to read.
True.
I'm not. That being said, I would not discourage anybody from trying to write something. Like, you should always try something. You don't know if you're good or bad at something, and if you don't get out there and try. So I would definitely always say, at least give it a shot. You never know until you try how good you're going to be at something.
It's a skill that you practice as well.
Yes. Oh yeah, and it's one that you can get better on if you have the desire. If that's something you really want to do, and you have the desire to put forth the time and effort to get better at it, go for it.
Bates,
there are artists.
Bates. Chill.
You're getting called out in chat, bees.
I was getting sucked into the puzzle, but I looked at it. Yeah, I mean, I think what AJ just said. There's always room to grow as artists, and you always have to start somewhere. That's really true. One thing that I've always wanted to do is draw, and I'm not very good at it, but I think it's also fun to just do something, not for the sake of being good at it or for the sake of turning it into a hustle or whatever, but to just enjoy doing it, even if it's not very good, even if it's not something that anyone else ever sees or reads or witnesses.
Yeah. If you're doing it for yourself, absolutely go do it for yourself. Rock on.
And you can also, that's also one way that you get better at doing it. I think if you are really dedicated to making things that you like for yourself, and keep practicing it, then you can get better at doing it for others too.
Absolutely.
I always get antsy when it's been a while since I've found a place for it.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about it. Just one piece at a time. Just kind of keep pushing your way through there. They'll all go in there
at some point. No, Bates is like best hype guy.
Bates loves to hype people up, and then when you go into Bates's chat to hype her up, she runs from that so fast.
She's like, oh no, don't you do that to me. And I'm like, actually that's all we're here to do.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Absolutely.
Starry Dell would like to know, who is your Blorbo of all time? And you're going to have to tell me what Blorbo is.
Oh my god, this is like
This has backstory to it, and I want all of it now. I can. Your reaction already tells me that there's backstory.
Blorbo is just like a fandom term of like this is my character that I love for all of the reasons. I feel like Blorbo is like the fandom term for Barbie. This is my little guy that I love, and I'm gonna like make them do whatever I want them to do. Like when you're
Can't put the kids.
for the kids, Nori. So like Blorbo is a newer term as well. Like when I was first getting into like online fan communities, Blorbo was not a thing. So I hope I defined it correctly. That's my understanding of it.
It's.
Oh my goodness.
I think I caught what you're saying. It's you're fine. I think I got the general gist of it. It's fine.
Kind of like, what is your favorite character of all time? I guess. Of all time, I don't know.
And for the record, Rose, the kids change so fast that I have a hard enough time trying to keep up with them at this point. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I am really okay with that. I have my lane. I like my lane. I will stay in my lane. I promise not to run anybody over. We'll be just fine. I don't sit out on my front porch and yell at the kids to get off my lawn or anything else. So we're good, right? Solid.
The new lingo is difficult to grasp. I'm not great at it myself.
Hey, look,
I'm a furious Googler.
I did my absolute level best to learn the what was that, Gen Z slang? Yes. So I spent time. I was straight busting it. I mean, I'm telling you, it was cold facts, man. No cap.
Pinged. I still say pinged. I'll say pinged for just like a general like I contacted this person electronically. Oh man.
You know what? I will still say pinged and bio breaks anytime I need to get up and move around. I
do it.
I'm sorry. What's wrong with a bio break? A bio break covers everything and it's nice and clean. You don't have to tell somebody, look, I had to go.
What are people saying not to use bio break now? Where is that from?
Nobody uses it anymore. Are you kidding me?
Who uses bio break anymore? I hear people use that all the time.
No, not anybody I've been listening to. No way.
I hear people use it. I hear streamers use it. They say like, I'm going to take a quick bio, or I'm going to take a quick bio break, or whatever.
Well, then you and I are seeing some very different streamers, because the ones I see are like, hang on, I got to go pee. Like, that was more information I cared. Thank you for the be right back screen. Why don't you just put a toilet on your BRB screen and we're good.
Oh my god.
A lot of times you're getting up just to go refill your drink. That's still a biological need. You want more something to drink. Yeah. That's a bio break. It's a lovely phrase.
Bio break encompasses so many things. Nori, we are in 100% agreement here.
But there are streams I turn into and they're like, hang on a second, I've got to go to the little girl's room and tinkle. Thank you I didn't need that. Honestly, not something I wanted in my life. Just like, why?
Oh my god. We've just been the office.
There you go. I'm going to the bathroom.
Exactly.
More power to
you. I'm still thinking on Dell's question. Favorite character of all time. Favorite blurb of all time. Again, hard to choose because there are just so many. There's just so many like stories and things that I love and that I've engaged with over the years. Games, movies, books. It's hard to choose.
Go piss emote. I can't.
Go piss, Carl.
It's fine, Ghost. It is just fine. You're welcome to do you on that. That was my curiosity is when did we get to this point where we're like, yeah, I'm not gonna say bio break. I'm just like, I am going to go do this thing. Here you go. If you're comfortable doing that, then by all means do that. Again, I'm not here to like naysay anybody. It's like, don't you ever do that or shame anybody. Like, do it. If that's your thing, do it. To me, I'm like, why did we stop calling the bio break? It's fine. I'm still waiting. Blurbo, let's go.
I know. Oh my god, Blurbo. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to think of someone.
It's hard. Right. So we're weaving it, huh? Is that what's happening now?
Yeah, I'm just repeating myself until the question comes. Probably like the original Blurbo. We're thinking of like fandom terms of character that you just like absolutely like obsessed over. Just like probably Mr. Spock from Star Trek. The original. Really? Yeah, I watched Star Trek reruns so much as a kid. Like after school, my grandparents lived in the same neighborhood that we did, but we probably not until I was in high school we didn't have cable at my house. And not for like any like kind of weird reason. I think it was more just because it was really expensive and my parents didn't want to pay for it. But my grandparents did, and my parents both worked, and because they lived right down the street, we would just go over to their house after school. And that was when Star Trek was on, and I watched a lot of it, and I was like probably 9 or 10 years old and just like obsessed with Mr. Spock. Not like, I mean, obsessed is maybe like a strong word, but I was just enthralled by like this guy, and I don't know why. I think maybe like Leonard Nimoy's voice was very soothing or interesting or whatever. But I don't know. I just like I loved the dynamic between him and Dr. McCoy a lot. I thought they were always really funny together.
Okay, that was a hell of a dynamic between those two.
Oh, it was. And so I feel like that was maybe like a really weird answer and maybe a little bit unexpected. I don't know what Del. I would be curious to know what Del thought I was going to say. But yeah, I was just I loved that show. I still love that show, and I still love Star Trek. I've watched so much Star Trek.
Well, most Trekkies are once a Trekkie, always a Trekkie. So I'm not, it's fine. Little Luna Rabbit, I am going to correct you on one little classic point. The term pinged actually did not start from Microsoft Things. The term pinged actually was initiated way back in the old days of BBS, because when you would send a directed message at somebody, the BBS program pinged. It actually produced the word PING on your screen. It pinged you and had a little bell tone to let you know that there was a message waiting for you. So that is where that came from, and that predates Teams by a long time. So, you want to know where that term comes from? Why I use it so often is because of the old hacker boards that I used to sit on and talk with the guys and everything else. All those were the old school BBS boards, and that is how we got notified of messages. We got pinged.
Amazing. I knew it was, I didn't know exactly where it was from, but I knew it was an older term. But it's also one that I've heard so much that I started using it as well. So I appreciate the history lesson. Thanks.
All the cool kids got pinged.
Wear a t-shirt that says, I got pinged at... and all I got was this lousy t-shirt.
We used to... yeah. Anyways, we'll deviate from that little bit of history. It's actually really kind of interesting. People talk about computers like they've been around for ages, and they've been around for a while. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But computers on the whole, at least the personal computers that everybody's had their hands on, everything on the whole, hasn't been around for nearly that long. Like there are far more advanced, far more technologies that we still use today that are way older by far.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the era of the family computer, big boxy computer, and which I think was like a hand-me-down to our family from my grandfather, who was actually one of those like I want to have all the latest kind of gadgets, and definitely gave us his old PC when he upgraded. But I like even just the idea of like having your own like laptop was just not they were just I don't think I had a laptop until I was in high school. It was a very basic like Toshiba laptop, and I did not like using a computer for school. I don't think I actually used a computer for school in terms of making anything until I was probably in middle school.
There you go. Runrig, good luck. I would say there's a couple of different morning after pills and drinks you can buy over the counter. You might try some of those. I don't typically get hangovers, so
What a flex.
I have one of those hyperactive metabolisms, so I just process stuff, and so I'll sleep off the hangover because by the time it hits, I'm still in my REM sleep cycle, and I wake up the next day and I'm like, whatever, and go run on about my business.
Well,
there's
they say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So I would say like the best thing to do is to, on the front end of it, try to prevent it. Which when I was younger and partaking more along those lines, it was like
I would say eat bread. Get a lot of bread in your stomach to soak it up. Rutherford, yes, the tuber, the little PNG tuber is a custom PNG tuber from Dat Crodo. He decided over the weekend that I needed to be a little bit more professional for Talk Tuesdays, and so he made this little PNG tuber up for me. Sent me all the instructions on how to make it work and everything else, and so there you go. That's
I'm actually now looking over at chat for a second.
Chat's been flying by. Talking about electrolytes and aspirins. They're basically going over drinking cures.
Oh, yeah, drinking cures. Yeah, I mean, definitely electrolytes, but also something like like bready and greasy. So whoever recommended the McDoubles, yes.
Yes.
Or like honestly, like diner food. Diner food. Go to a Waffle House, y'all. Waffle House. That's my hangover cure for whoever asked. It's Waffle House.
Waffle House, yeah. Waffle House
Waffle
is
House
good.
for the pregame. Waffle House for the 2 a.m. You're currently drunk. Waffle House for the hangover. Yeah.
All of the helpful. Here you go. By the way, Runrig, thank you for the resub, my friend. 9 months. It is officially a Twitch baby. You'll have to tell me what you want to name it. Running a chance of getting in a fist fight with the back of the house staff, though. Yeah, it just depends on the Waffle House you go
Only
to.
if you don't have fucking manners. Like, what are you going and doing at the Waffle House?
What don't you go and do at the Waffle House? I mean, really?
I don't know what Waffle Houses y'all are going to. All the ones I go to have a sign that says no cursing on the wall. You just go and mind your manners. You eat your all-star special. You say thank you, and you leave.
Oh no! We have the spicy Waffle Houses. They get riled up in the early morning hours.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's like people who go to Waffle House and misbehave, then they learn. They learn not to fuck with the people who work at Waffle House. That's what I'm saying. Look at that fuzzy bee butt.
Very good. I figured you'd figure it out pretty soon. Got 4 hours and 3 minutes of sleep. So see you later. Take care, Runrick, my friend. Take care. Green Emerald Dragon, aka Greenie, would like to know if you were isekai'd and can choose 5 skills, what would they be?
If I was a what now?
Isekai'd.
Don't know what that is. And I could choose 5 skills.
Okay, so isekai'd is a type of anime or manga where you are extracted from your current world, i.e. the more popular one is the traditional isekai truck that comes and runs you over, basically kills you in one world, and then the gods are resurrect you into another world. Though you can also be isekai'd by being summoned in some worlds that they do this big massive ritual that they have no idea how to undo, but they do this big massive ritual and then summon you from another world into their plane of existence, and you get kind of squeezed through there. Sometimes you can get isekai just because the gods screw up and accidentally killed you, and so they're resurrecting you into another world because they can't bring you back into this one because that's against some kind of rules. Not like, you know,
so it's
accidentally.
Like kind of like oh, my bad. Here you go.
Pretty much. Like, so there are different ways of getting isekai, but it all amounts to the same thing. You're being extracted from Earth and being sent somewhere else. And where you land somewhere else, you generally tend to be the ultimate hero of the world. And if you're guy or girl, you end up usually with a harem of beauties chasing after you, whether they're men or females. It's just a thing.
That sounds like a lot of work, honestly.
And, you know, depending on the trope of the isekai and where you're going, generally speaking, they're like class systems, and it's like going into a video game. Harem is optional.
Good. I don't think I can handle it. I'm just gonna be straight up with you.
Right, Rutherford? For you, maybe.
Listen, Fierce, welcome to it.
But typically when you end up in a video, it's like going into a video game, so to speak. So you get to pick a class. Magic is a thing that's pretty big in the world, and so. But in order to use magic, you have to, generally speaking, you have to have the skill for it. And if you're usually what happens is when you're granted the skill for magic, it's an overpowered skill for magic, and that usually ends up with its own set of circumstances and everything else. But yeah, so that's your basic isekai architecture. And they usually involve picking some kind of skill sets to take with them as their starting character things to do. So in this case, what would be your 5 things that you would take into the said isekai?
Like 5 objects or abilities?
Skills. Abilities, skills. They amount to about the same thing. And these are usually what they would call like god tiered skills or whatnot, where like magic is a skill. So if you wanted to be able to cast magic in this magic system, then you have to have the skill for magic.
Gotcha.
Abilities too, yes. So if you think like Final Fantasy and like some of the special moves that they have in Final Fantasy, like those would be skills that you could take with you. Not saying that you can't learn others in the world. They're just, these are what you start out with.
Right. I think for this is such a. Also, I'm not. I don't really watch a lot of anime or read a lot of manga. So thank you for giving me that whole overview.
Yeah.
It's actually a really cool question. So beekeeping. Maybe I would take something bee related, like I could set swarms of stinging insects upon people.
Totally a thing you could do. Totally a thing you could do. That would be a skill that you could take in with you. The ability to summon bees on demand. Done.
Yes, bees on demand. It'll be like that like GIF that they made of Oprah, and it's just like yeah. So gaming magic. Absolutely. I drink a lot of tea, so maybe the ability to create like a very healing, restorative tea on command. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe some sort of like magical persuasion. Like I'm able to talk myself out of, or I'm able to like talk people down from things, or from like attacking me or attacking people I care about. I don't know. I was like trying to think of like how would I translate counselor?
Well, but I mean that's just having overwhelming charisma, right? So you could have just overwhelming charisma. If it helps to think about it in like D&D terms, I don't know.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what your experience level is with D&D, so I don't know if that helps any.
Mm-hmm. No, that is helpful. Yeah. So overwhelming charisma, something that I don't have in real life. So it would be actually fun to have. It would be fun to have if I were like in some like magical.
What are you talking about? I told everybody that I was going to have bees on Talk Tuesday, and look at the crowd that's turned out for you. And you want to talk about overwhelming charisma? You have plenty of overwhelming charisma, my friend.
Well, I appreciate it. So that's only 3 things.
Yep, that's only 3.
I'm trying to think my real life skills and what I can do. I'm really good at assembling flat pack furniture. So maybe I can make really good like improvised weapons or something. Or improvised anything. Just pile of junk. We're gonna put something together. My greatest magical ability is being the greatest IKEA assembler that ever was.
Oh my. Okay. Yes. Give bees the ability to summon and insta build IKEA furniture. I suddenly.
Do you want a Hemnes? Do you want a mom? Do you want a Billy?
So we laugh, right? But there is an anime. What is it? In a world with my cooking skills, or his camping skills. Like, it's the guy gets isekai'd into the world, and his only skill is to be able to pull up an online grocery store. And so this could very literally be the thing that you have, right? But you interface with IKEA. And so now you're pulling up IKEA, and the boxes come and then just instantly unfold and put themselves together for you, right?
Yeah.
Like
Max Charisma with a subclass artist.
Campfire cooking in another world. Thank you, Greenie.
That's okay. That sounds amazing. I feel like I want to check that out now. Check that out now.
Like,
oh my god.
Look, there's isekai adventures where the hero is resurrected in the other world under a vending machine. I mean,
awesome. I think one we'd have to, since we talked about it earlier, I think we'd have to do a nod to like roller skating, and like I have like some magical. I can skate away really fast. I can skate. It's like a flying skate thing. How would 12-year-old Jory phrase that?
It really is. It is like almost anything goes in that. If you're being isekai, like there's the latest one that I started watching was the author who was trying to kill himself got isekai'd by the truck, and was really upset because all he wants to do is commit suicide because he's like, all I can be is an author, and I suck at being an author, and I really just want to go and be at peace and die with my loved one, and the stupid truck came by and scooped me up and dropped me into this place, and it's taken me a minute to get through like the first episode, because it's a very depressing one, because the guy's like, I just want to die. I'm like, okay, there's only so much of you I can stand in one shot, buddy.
Right. Wow.
Oh yeah, it's if you haven't watched anything isekai, you can Google isekai and get probably close to like 200 mangas and animes to go watch. And you're like, oh my god, and it's everything under the sun.
That sounds pretty cool to me.
Yeah,
I've learned something new today.
You're right, Bunny. It probably is a gross understatement, but I didn't want to overwhelm him. Bates would like to know, how did you and Starry Dell meet?
How did Starry Dell and I meet? Oh my gosh. So prior to about a year ago, or maybe a little more than a year ago, I was hearing all the hype about Baldur's Gate 3 and started playing it. And then
wait. Let me guess. You met her playing Baldur's Gate 3.
related to playing Baldur's Gate 3. And we actually have played Baldur's Gate 3 together. But I've always been really fascinated with how things are made, like how movies are made, how video games are made. and had seen one of the a clip of like one of the voice actors talking about like all the performance capture and everything that they did for that. And I was like, oh, that sounds really, really cool. I want to learn more. And he um, was like was streaming on Twitch talking about it, and he was on with a friend talking about it, and uh, Dell and I met through one of their discords, I think, and like kind of talking about sort of the um, uh,
Did you guys meet
how
through the
it's made
Minkies?
and yeah, it was, I think it was. I think it was one of the two. I think it was the Minkies. I think it was the Minkies. Was where we officially met. Was where we officially met, actually. So yeah, yeah.
It is a delightful name to say. We also had Miss Om Nom Zombabe on Talk Tuesday.
Minkies mentioned. Yeah. No, it is. That is the Minkies is a great little. It's a great, well, not little, but it's a great community, and I've met a lot of these lovely people through there through adjacent folks, and
I was gonna say at this point I need a Minkies button like every time because it's like, well, how did you fall into Minkies? Okay,
yeah. Minkies, yep.
Yep.
Well, and I couldn't remember because I couldn't remember which one it was first because I think we were both in the Minkies Discord and then in Neil Newmont's Discord, and so I couldn't remember which one of those came first, but I think it was Minkies.
I honestly I think a lot of people met because of their love for Baldur's Gate, and Minkies happens to be one of those because of his relationship to one of the stars of Baldur's Gate, the guy who is the cause of the Minkies. I think that's
Tom DeVille.
Tom DeVille. Thank you. I was like, what is his name? God, the name is escaping me at this point. It's fine.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that's
but also so yeah, Baldur's Gate 3, but also like Dell and I like discovered like a lot of other stuff that we have in common and enjoy together. And I think that's the same with like the Minkies as well. It's like Baldur's Gate 3 was kind of like
it's a starting point
for it, and then it's like all of these other things kind of sprang from that community coming together with the Minkies.
Right. And it's fantastic.
So which is so cool. Which is I think back when I was in middle school and high school was when I first really started getting involved with online communities, and it was really formative for me and overall a really positive experience. But there had been kind of like a really long period where I had sort of pulled back from that, and that was also kind of pre social media. Like when I was in high school, like social media was kind of just starting to really take off, but even before that it was more like forums and things like that. But also like I don't know, I had pulled back sort of after college from sort of online communities, and this year has been sort of a year of coming back to that for me because of all the lovely people that I've met one way or another through all of this. And so that's been a really nice return, I would say.
Lovely. Fantastic. Miss Om Nom Zombie would like to know, are you a pumpkin spice or an apple spice fall person?
Ooh. One thing I will say first, this is like a very pedantic thing of me, but the pumpkin spice and apple spice, the spice part is the same. They're the warming spices. When I make pumpkin pie, when I make apple pie, the spices that I season them with are the same spices, the warming spices. So like I will just say that. So when someone like has like, oh, this is like my shaker of pumpkin spice mix. It's not pumpkin flavored. It's the spices that are used to flavor pumpkin pie and other pumpkin things, and also apple pie and other things. But that's just a silly pedantic thing of me. I I will say of the two, I'm an apple spice person. I love a mulled cider. I will say I don't like um I I do like pumpkin things. I don't love like pumpkin spice lattes. And not for any reason other than just I'm not a big fan of like the pumpkin coffee taste. But I do love um I make a lot of pumpkin bread. I love pumpkin bread, and I make a lot of it in the fall and winter.
Right.
But in terms of drinks, I would definitely prefer like a spiced, like a mulled apple cider. And I love making apple pie. I love making apple pie as well. Apple turnovers. So, so yeah. I also, in terms of pies, I don't like pumpkin pie that much. It's okay. It's fine. But if I had to choose one of, I actually, this is like maybe really controversial in some cases, but people are always talking about like pumpkin pie versus like sweet potato pie.
Right.
I will say like butternut squash pie. I will take that over both pumpkin and sweet potato every time. So that's my pie debate. If it's kind of choosing that particular type of pie. But pecan pie is always number one, especially for like the fall pies.
Yeah, unfortunately, all of those pies you named off are like not even close on my like nope, hard pass.
What is your pie, Nori? I didn't say I don't like pumpkin pie, Brother Fjord. It's not my first choice. Of if I'm presented with an array of pies to choose from, it's not my first choice. Although when it comes to like Thanksgiving or whatever, I usually just take a tiny slice of like every pie.
A sample pie, right?
Yes. Nom gets it. Nom gets it. What's your number one pie? Well, what's your number one pie, Nori?
Cherry.
Cherry. Oh, like with the classic, like from a can cherry filling. Cherry pie.
Huh? No.
Like.
No.
Like a real cherry pie. Okay.
Yeah. Well, okay. So my grandmother on my mother's side of the family always kept a garden out back, and cherries were one of the things that she would grow, and she would make her own canned cherries and whatnot. So not canned, she would bottle the cherries. So she would make her own cherry pie filling.
Right.
Fresh.
But not like from the store. These
no.
Cherries,
yes,
cherries.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I mean, I just as you've described it, how could you beat that?
And so, well, like everything for the pie was fresh. Like so my grandmother lived in North Carolina there towards the end of her life, and so they had farmers markets and everything go. So like all of the flour and everything else was freshly ground that day. Like it was all made by hand, and then she would bring it all to the house and then mix it with her fruits and vegetables that she grew in her backyard. And that's some of the things that I grew up eating. And so I'm like, I want cherry pie. And they're like, well, here's a cherry pie. I'm like, that's got canned cherries in it. Well, that's fine. I'll eat it, but it's not.
It's not grandma's cherry pie, that's for sure.
No, definitely not. Doesn't stand a chance.
Absolutely not.
But
that's honestly, that sounds amazing. I'm not a huge cherry pie person, but your grandma's cherry pie, I really fuck with.
It's one of those. I have the luxury of like I'm a huge foodie, and I tell people I'm a huge foodie. But I grew up in a family of people who enjoyed cooking and enjoyed growing their own stuff and making their own stuff from it. So it was always organic. It was always freshly grown. It was always grown from the land that we took care of and everything else. And whether it was in Puerto Rico and it was the sugarcane farms out back and like, if Tangy Bass was here, she'd be like, aha, there it is. He's talking about sugar canes again. I would get fresh cut sugar canes out back. And they were fantastic. And Nori in the sugar cane. Yeah, go ahead. You won't find anything better. I'm sorry. It is what it is. But yeah, but for me, everything was always a homegrown, homemade, whether it was, be honest with you, whether it was empanadas stuffed with dog from my uncle's push cart to fresh cherry pie from my grandmother's house, and like everything was always handmade. So
yeah,
it's a little hard not to be a foodie. It's a little hard to go.
Yeah, I mean,
it's nice, it's fine, and I just it's so for me it's difficult because a lot of the stuff that I going out to eat somewhere is kind of it's just food.
Yeah, I mean, I was the same. Lots of my mom and my grandmother were both, like amazing Southern cooks. Like we didn't eat out a whole lot, and we didn't have a lot of like kind of like pre-made things from the grocery store, because they cooked, all the time.
Yeah.
And it was, that's I really enjoy baking. That's who I learned to bake from. And yeah, I don't always I don't always make my own food quite as much. Also because I find it's hard to cook for just myself sometimes. Or I have to like cook something and then it's like, this is great, but now I have to eat this for 5 days. But I love cooking. I love cooking for other people. Like my 30th birthday, people were like, "Oh, do you want to like go out, have a big party or whatever?" And I had everyone over to my house, and we made like 3 different kinds of chili. And it was great.
There you go.
But yeah, I don't know. I also love pie. I love baking pie. All kinds of pies, fruit pies in the summer, make my own pie crust and everything.
I will be honest. I had to struggle very hard for making a very bad joke on at your expense, because you were like, I would kill for your grandma's cherry pie. I'm like, Grandpa would take you out.
I'm sure. Oh my God. I'm going to say something my grandpa would say, which is, you're a mess.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My grandmother would not disagree with you on that statement. She'd be like, yes, but that's the way I raised them.
Exactly. Oh, man.
It's fine. Rolling right on. Rutherford says, speaking of greasy food and pies, what would your final meal be if you were on death row?
Jesus Christ. Now I'm just having like an existential crisis over thinking about being on death row and just like, I don't know. I think it would have to be just like my grandmother's Sunday pot roast. I mean, maybe if I thought about it more, there would be, I could come up with something else, but that was the first thing that came to my mind, so I think I gotta go with it. I just have these very strong childhood memories of like we would all go to church as a family on Sunday mornings, and then when we came home, the whole house would smell like pot roast because my mom or my grandma or whoever would put it in, like when we left, and then by the time we came back, it'd be ready. And it was always just so good, and I can like taste it thinking about it now. And so that's what it would be. Like the pot roast with like the baby carrots and the potatoes and the onions like cut
Right.
up around it, and then there would be some kind of green okra, green beans, something to go with it, and then uh, sometimes we didn't always have rolls, but sometimes because we had the potatoes, but sometimes rolls. And I can smell it cooking now. So probably something like that. Just good home cooking. Although if I were on death row or my last meal, I don't know if I could act. I think I would be too anxious to actually eat it.
Now, see, that's an interesting reaction I don't think we've had yet, where somebody's like, yeah, it would be great to have this, but I don't know that I would actually eat it.
It's hard because thinking about it now,
Mhm.
as just like a hypothetical, I, I'm like, oh, I feel like I would be so anxious, blah blah blah. Like, would I even, be able to eat it or whatever? But then also thinking about, maybe in the moment, when it came down to it, at that point, I feel like by the time I got to that point, I would have, it's kind of like I've already made my peace with this now. So
Right.
maybe I would be okay with eating it.
Well, I mean, you would have to think about the fact that you have done something pretty dastardly to get to that point, I think.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know that I have a specific answer to response to what sort of dastardly thing could you possibly do to be thrown on death row. I have no idea. Because what does anybody do to get thrown on death row? Like something pretty stupid.
Yeah. Right. Or, people get wrongfully accused and whatnot.
Well, yes, people get wrongfully accused, but by the time first off, that I don't know, getting sentenced and put on death row is not an immediate thing. Do you realize that most people who end up on death row are there for like years? There's a whole appeal process that goes behind it. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah. Like it's by the time you get to that point. Are you coming to say hello? Come say hello. My cat's here.
Kitty.
Sometimes she's very assertive about being around, and she wants us to know. But now she's just kind of looking at me accusingly.
My mama's maja con maíz would be con maíz. Sí. Ay, ya maja con maíz.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Greenie. Why do I feel like... Never mind. We're going to move on.
Oh my God. Here.
It's one of those things like you can pinpoint people based on the culinary delicacies that they prefer. Mm-hmm. You're like, ooh, I think I know exactly where you were from. It's fine. Mm-hmm. It's fine.
I was just my family's from Georgia, or I'm from Georgia. They're not all from Georgia, but I'm from Georgia. And I was just there this last weekend, and all of the boiled peanut signs on the on the side of the road.
Okay. I used to live in Virginia, specifically in the peanut capital of the United States in Virginia. Give you an idea. So you can really pinpoint that down. And the amount of, like, peanuts was a thing. And the amount of peanuts that these people ate and consumed, let alone what was produced and shipped out. Holy cow.
Mm-hmm. peanuts. I mean, peanuts are also a really big thing in Georgia too. Not peanut capital like Virginia, this place in Virginia, but also a really big crop in Georgia. And yeah, you know it's gonna be good if it's like this, just plain white with like red painted letters, just
Yeah.
big, like all caps. It says boil, not boiled, boil, and then peanut is spelled P-NUT. You know those are going to be the best boiled peanuts you've ever eaten. And it's just some shack on the side of the road. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, because they mama didn't raise no fool. We can make some peanuts around here, yeah. Down in the hollow.
I was once down in the hollow. Yeah. Well, only got hollers like in North Georgia where the mountains are, but I'm from the coastal swampy part. But yeah, I do love some boiled peanuts. I used to live in Philadelphia, and there was a bar, like pub type place that I went there once.
I miss Philly.
I loved living in Philly. I would move back in a heartbeat if like the right job or whatever came along. I would do it. I miss living there. I lived there for almost 5 years. But we went to this bar. I can't even remember what it's called, and they kind of did their own sort of take on Southern food, you know, like pulled pork nachos and things like that. And it was okay. It wasn't like being back home, but it was, you know, it was fine. It was good, especially for like bar food, you know.
I think everybody tries to make the authentic whatever sort of food from different areas just to try and make people feel more at home. It's never quite as good unless
never quite as good. It was definitely, the food was definitely fine. I wasn't like, oh, this is terrible, blah blah blah, all of that. But under appetizers, they did have boiled peanuts, and they were not it. They were not it. Everything else was fine. Like, you know, they did fine on it, but the boiled peanuts.
Did they really do fine on it? Because the way you're making it sound like, it doesn't sound like that was fine at all. It sounded like they
no, they had. I mean, they had like it wasn't like, you know, we are doing like Southern soul food. Like it wasn't that. It was just kind of like Southern inspired. So things with like the barbecue pulled pork nachos and stuff, kind of more combining things, maybe combining cuisines, maybe, and that was good. I think I had like a fried chicken sandwich, and it was good. It wasn't, there was nothing wrong with it. It was not the most amazing fried chicken sandwich I ever had, but it was a good like pub. It was like a pub type bar. It was a good like pub sandwich, you know. But the boiled peanuts, I was like, oh no. They didn't use enough salt, and they didn't boil them for long enough.
Oh, that's not good.
Because then you get into like stomachache territory, right?
You know,
I've eaten like an undercooked peanut.
Yeah. Oof. That's rough. No matter which way you slice it, that is definitely rough.
Yeah.
Rodrigo, if I could get you food, my friend, I would. Oh, yes. There's a ton of good food. But honestly, my favorites are always the people who are like, you know, I make the best Philly cheesesteak. I'm like, no, sir. No. Are you from Philly? Did you learn from the brothers up in Philly? Have you been to the city of bread? If you have not done any of that and you think you're going to make a Philly cheese, no, go away. You stand no chance.
Oh
that is like
man.
one of those staple things that everybody's like, I make a Philly cheesesteak. No, you don't.
Mm-mm.
Love you to death. No.
No. That was like, we were talking about like hangover food. That was like my hangover food when I lived in Philly. It was just the perfect combination of things.
Best Philly cheesesteak I ever had came from this literally a hole in the wall place in Philadelphia.
Literally like, the only place to get that Philly cheesesteak.
Yes. Like there's standing room only. You don't sit down and eat. You go in, you get the food, and you take it somewhere else.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I actually used to live literally a block up from Pat's and Gino's, and I've never had a cheesesteak there. People would say like, "Oh, didn't you go on the time?" And I was like, "No." I went to the place that was even closer on the corner because that was better. It was just a little nothing place.
10 bacon rolls tomorrow. Yeesh. Unrig, yeah, the people you work with sound like not a good place to.
Bates. Bringing in the best Philly I ever had was in Delaware. But I think I'm ordering like 10 bacon rolls tomorrow.
I also think it's fair to note that some of the best places that you're ever going to find food at, like anybody who knows the little hole in the wall shops, right?
Oh, yeah.
The little tiny dining establishment that's got maybe one chef in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where you go get food at.
Oh yeah. That is where you get food.
That's the place to dine at. Like that's where you do it at.
Well, I'm thinking of even just like being back home this past weekend of all the like places back home that are kind of like more of those, like not even like the kind of tourist destination places, but like just the more
yeah, no.
Like flashier spots, and I'm like, all the locals go to these. Well, like we all know where all the actual good places are.
Yeah, you want to know where you go to get good food at when you go visit somewhere. You go ask the locals where they eat at. Mm-hmm. You don't eat at the tourist shops. Like that's stupid. You want to know where the food is at? Go grab a local and be like, hey, where did you go get a good one of these from? They'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And 9 out of 10 times, it's this little dive. It is not the big $high establishment. It is a little dive shop somewhere. Like, oh yeah, you want a good sandwich? There's a po' boy shop just around the corner. You have to go in the grocery side, you walk to the deli side, and then you exit out the back. You go around to the
grocery side, walk to the deli side. Yes. I think any location, any cuisine, that is how you know. As soon as someone said that, I would be like, I'm there.
Yep. Let's go.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh man, there's a place here where I live that just does. It's just kind of like if you want like your Friday night fried food, like
right,
kind of soul food, like they do like chicken and waffles, fried shrimp, stuff like that. It's literally in the back of a combination like U-Haul rental convenience store. Yeah. But it's so good. And it's always fresh. It's always like fresh too. Like it's always hot. Like it hasn't been sitting under the heat lamps for
No. You want to eat good? Go see Uncle Chico. Uncle Chico got it in the van out back. He keep you full good time. But I mean, seriously though, I mean that's how you know when you're eating good, right? You don't even question about like do I need to worry about salmonella or anything? Like no. They keep that stuff so clean because everything is cooked so fresh. Like you don't have to even
Right.
question
Yeah,
it.
because they're
It's
using it. They're using it. It's not just sitting around.
no. You know, they just had you know, his entire family has just come through for dinner. Like they've just finished rewashing every pot, pan, and everything else because they've just turned it over 3 times. Like no, exactly. It's clean. You don't have to worry about it. There's no question. Just good stuff.
Whatsoever.
Oh yeah. Sorry, this is a subject I can talk on for hours on end. It's just
I know. I feel like I took us on a tangent.
It's fine. That's what we do. That is a staple of Talk Tuesdays. As we go down rabbit holes, it is just fine.
Everybody's gonna be like, "Who is this guy?"
What do you mean? Who is this guy? No. Everybody knows who this guy is. All right, so we'll backtrack just a little bit, right? So, are you? They get their ingredients delivered in like 5 a.m. So it's like yes.
Oh yeah.
Like the chef is if you're there at 9 o'clock and you're like, why aren't they ready to go cooking? And the chef walks in like 5-10 minutes after you get there, and they've got grocery bags in their hands because they just hit. Yeah. We're gonna step back to desserts just a little bit because you were on. If you weren't eating pies, like we'll take pies out of the equation now. What is? It would be like me. Who is this guy? What is your backup dessert?
Backup dessert.
Like, you know, everybody, you've got your favorite. Everybody has a favorite dessert, right? But we don't care about the favorite dessert, right? What is, like, you can't get your favorite dessert anymore for whatever reason. Doesn't matter. You can't get it anymore. What is the next thing that you're like, okay, well, if I can't have that, I want this?
Probably an ice cream cone. Like, like either cookies and cream or like espresso chip. And like not like a waffle cone, not a sugar cone, like one of the cake cones. You know. That would be my backup. Walking down the beach, eating an ice cream cone.
Rose starts working on these big cluster pieces, and I just see these big clusters. I'm like, "Ooh, I think that goes here." And I've been grabbing them from Rose and then like trying to fit them into the puzzle. And her hand starts dancing around. I say, "Give me that back! I'm not done with it." She gets territorial. So. It's fine. So you would go for ice cream as your fallback dessert.
Yeah. I don't like eat a ton of ice cream or like keep a ton of ice cream, but sometimes I just really want it. I used to, you know, when I was I'm very nostalgic about food as well, but I remember just like,
well, food tends to bring a lot of memories back up too with it, like, you know, taste, textures, smells, like food elicits a very usually very happy memories for most people, not all the time, but it does have that tendency.
Yeah, well, I remember like going to this place on the beach and just chasing AJ around the board. But I remember going to this place sometime on like summer vacation, and it was just like an ice cream shack on the like right off the beach. And I think maybe my favorite ice cream flavor of all time is cookies and cream. But this place had flavor called espresso chip. And it was like coffee ice cream with espresso chocolate chips in it.
Sounds
And
tasty.
it was really good. Really good. Okay, am I blind? These pieces literally should go. Sorry.
You're
I'm getting
fine.
very heated about the puzzle.
Well, this one had a couple of swaths of areas on it that weren't that were just like solid colors, and so this is not the normal 750 because I didn't think we would, because of the large swath of just like, here's a big whack of solid green, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna be sitting here dicking around with these green, like it's just, so I reduced the size of the puzzle down.
And
I have
we've
been
also
slowly-
all decided fuck the green as well. Like we're all
Yeah,
working
pretty
on the
much
purple
everybody's
and
working
the-
on everything but the bee and the flowers, and it's fine.
Mhm. Fine.
It's fine. You just kind of walk around the outsides with the colors. Like, I just kind of look for where the colors think they should line up at, just because I'm a bit colorblind.
Mhm.
Like, ooh, that looks like that should go. No, it's there. No, locked in. I don't distinguish shades very well, so it's like, oh, those two are the same shade, and if it varies, it doesn't look that color anymore. It's a little hard to explain. Like, it's green until it's not green, and the difference
Right.
between green and not green is like literally a couple of pixels of color differentiation. It's not much.
Mhm.
But that's a me problem.
EU problem.
It is a me problem.
Ah. What's your backup dessert?
So if I can't get a hold of a cherry pie, which is absolutely where I would go for, my backup dessert actually is cornbread and honey.
Ooh, okay. Good
Which,
one.
like, not really a dessert, but to me it's dessert. And
Sweet
I
cornbread?
want cornbread. No, not sweet cornbread. Grandma never made sweet. No, Grandma never made sweet
Yeah,
corn. She made just regular cornbread. It was never sweet cornbread. You want it sweet? Throw some butter and some honey on top of it, and you get sweet cornbread.
Right. We didn't have sweet cornbread growing up either. It was just like regular cornbread, and then
Mm-hmm.
sometimes if my grandma wanted to get fancy, she would put green chilies in it, or put in like slices of jalapeno, like decoratively, if she was getting fancy. But that was also only for like specific things. Like if she made cornbread for chili,
Right.
You know, it would be.
I was gonna say
like
that's getting awfully fancy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was usually not that fancy. It was usually not that fancy.
No. It's just regular cornbread. Yeah. And I was so disheartened. You ever go north of the Mason-Dixon line and tell them you want cornbread? Be prepared for heartache. That is not cornbread. That is cake. They will bring you this thing. It is yellow. It is spongy. It is soft. It's cake. It is disgusting. You're like, what is this? It's cornbread. No, it's not. Why did you fish this out of your?
Disgusting if you're expecting cornbread. Yeah.
Green, not green, is yellow. Yes. AJ chasing puzzle clumps. Chocolate fudge brownies are good. Yes. I actually prefer brownies over cake.
They gotta be really good brownies for me. Which isn't to say I'm a big fan of the box brownie, but also doing what my grandmother called doctoring. You take a box mix and you doctor it.
I always assumed that doctoring food was just a way of being lazy. Like, oh no. We doctored it up so it would taste right. And like, okay, grandma made box.
Well, so my grandmother for my grandmother would make cakes, pies, like the whole thing. And it was like all from scratch. But making brownies from scratch is quite a feat. It's just, for some reason, it's just more involved than like making a cake. And it is hard in terms of like texture and everything for your average home baker. Getting like the perfect brownie texture, it is hard to do it better than Betty Crocker or whoever, your Ghirardelli, whatever your box brownie mix is. But so that was like my grandmother's, but she also used that phrase doctoring for like anything. Like if she was like served a plate of food or a cup of coffee or whatever, if she like had to add anything like seasoning, sugar, sort of sweetener, or whatever.
Yeah, we doctored it up.
What she wanted. I'm doctoring this. I'm doctoring. I gotta doctor it up.
Right. You talk to Squirrel about it. Squirrel will tell you that she drinks her coffee heavily adulterated. And all that means is she's added cream and sugar to it, which I thought was a fantastic term. The first time I heard it, I'm like, you did what to your... She's like, I adulterated my coffee. I'm like, you did what?
I love that. My grandmother had an insane sweet tooth. Like this woman sweetened her cereal in the morning, like straight up put it on top of the cereal and then her milk.
I swear that is gotta be a Southern thing.
Maybe, but that was also never something that we did. Like she would pour her, I don't know, whatever cereal she was eating. Even if it was something like Raisin Bran, which already has like sweetener in it, she would like also my grandma was a sweet and low girly. That was her sweetener for everything, because she had a huge sweet tooth, but she was like also very aware of like not wanting to have not wanting to like eat too much sugar, I guess. So she sweetened, not like when she was baking, but like her coffee or her cereal, whatever. It was her iced tea. It was if she was, God forbid, was in it. Well, actually, when we were in restaurants or whatever, like she would always order unsweet tea, because of course sweet tea is sweetened with a lot of sugar. So she would order unsweet tea and then get sweet and low sweet. And it would never actually dissolve. So she would be spending the whole meal, like she would give it her tea a good stir and then take a sip and then stir it some more.
I swear, like you've just described like half of the family on one side. It's like, yeah, like this is like normal. Like, oh wait, you're having Honey Nut Cheerios? Yes, okay, sure. Drop your Honey Nut Cheerios in there. Now here's a scoop of sugar right over top of that. Oh, no. Pour the milk on top of that. You got this like sludge at the bottom of the bowl. You're like, oh.
I am actually a Cheerio fan. Like that is my go-to cereal. Cheerios, plain Cheerios, not Honey Nut Cheerios, not any other kind of Cheerios, just plain Cheerios, and it has to be brand name Cheerios. I'm not typically a stickler for brands. I'm here to save money, and so for most like kind of average household things, I'm like, I don't care. It's all made in the same place. Whatever. But Cheerios, it has to be regular it has to be like regular brand name Cheerios. And I always I love adding like sliced fruit to it, because but yeah, we always loved going to Grandma's house because we knew she'd like give us treats, because we didn't have a lot of like sweet stuff at our house, but my grandma always had the snacks.
Oh yeah, Grandma always had the snacks. Just growing up for me, the snacks at Grandma's house was whatever you went out back and pulled ice. Oh, fresh vine ripened tomatoes, plucked, washed, cut on bread with some salt, a little bit of mayo or butter. Take your pick. Doesn't matter. and just, oh, it was so good. So good.
My grandpa was a big gardener, and so there was always like fresh tomatoes, cucumbers.
Get yourself a fresh tomato and you slice that joker up and you stick it right on top of that sandwich and just eat it like that. Just sandwich, just tomatoes, salt, and bread, and yeah.
This is probably like sacrilegious in some parts of the South, but I do not like tomatoes. I like tomato things, like tomato sauce, and like roasted tomatoes and things, but I cannot eat raw tomatoes except for like if it's like fresh salsa or something. But I just biting into a raw tomato or tomato slice, I can't do it. And so I have never known that rapturous joy of eating like a fresh garden tomato sandwich. To me, it sounds awful. But I did eat in a similar fashion many a cucumber sandwich. And not like I feel like when you say cucumber sandwich, people think of like the dainty little finger sandwiches at a fancy tea or something. No, I'm just like taking a cucumber and slicing it up on some bread with butter or mayo. A little bit of
that's fair. I don't see anything wrong with that, right? If it's not your thing, it's not your thing. For me, it was very much so a thing. Like that's like fond memories, going out back and grabbing that fresh vine ripened tomato that you've been watching grow all summer long, and you're like, okay, it is time to eat that puppy now.
Fair. Very fair.
Like that was always some of the things that I enjoyed. And it's not for everybody. Like, not everybody enjoyed. Like my brothers hated. I had two younger brothers, and they hated tomatoes. So, which to me is like, oh, that works. That's right. More for me. That works out in my favor. You don't like it? Psh, give it here. Mine now.
My grandpa would always say, if you were like around the table and he, had a bowl or a tureen of something or whatever, and he was gonna like, do you want some, peas or whatever? And he would say, no, Grandpa, I don't like that thing. And he would just go, and he would then like put a big pile of it on his plate and go, well, let them that want none have memories of not getting any. But now, that want none have memories of not getting any.
I will say, Grandma was lethal. I'm all right with that. I don't get very nostalgic very often, but occasionally these things come up. We used to have family reunions growing up, and people wonder. Okay, so anybody that knows me knows I'm a big prankster. But I come from a family of pranksters. Like we would go to family reunions, and if Grandma picked up a spoon and there was mashed potatoes on that spoon, somebody was getting that upside their head. And it don't matter where you sat on that table. Grandma could hit you with her eyes closed and you hiding behind somebody. That stuff would like boomerang around their head. They smack you upside their head. Like Grandma could start a food fight.
I believe it. I believe it.
Grandma whipped that spoonful of mashed potatoes and you'd be wearing that upside your chin before you know it. We used to have to get hosed down before we could get in the cars to go back home at the end of the family reunion. And you always knew you were getting ready for the family reunion because... Oh.
Yep. Oh, sorry. I just put a big chunk.
Oh. Like you always knew you were getting ready for a family reunion because Grandma would make a big pot of mashed potatoes. And then there would be a second one of the same size. And you're like, Grandma, what's all the mashed potato for? She goes, that's for eating. That's for throwing.
Amazing. I love that.
I don't even want to guess at how much potatoes were left all over the park, so we would go and visit. But I can tell you, we always came home wet.
I'm sure.
Uh,
Grandma doesn't
yeah.
play.
No, Grandma does not play. Not one bit. And Grandma's in it to win it.
Mm-hmm.
Like don't think you're going to get one up on Grandma. No, that's not how that happens. That woman is in it to win it.
Mm-hmm. She's not here to make friends. She's here to win.
No, she don't care about making friends. She knows where you're going to come back home to get that dessert at. It's fantastic. Oh. So do you, in all the games that you have played thus far on stream, Spuds for the win, exactly, right? Yes. Mm-hmm. How many games have you finished, and what have been some of the more memorable games that you have played that you have finished?
Finished on stream?
Mm-hmm.
I think since I started streaming, I think I've only actually finished one on stream. One of the first stream games that I streamed was Dream Daddy, which is like kind of a visual novel type game. I don't know if you're familiar, but it's great. It's a lot of fun. You basically you create your dad Sona. You play a dad. You're single. You and your teenage daughter move across town to a new neighborhood, and all of your neighbors are dateable dads. Even the married one. And you go on dates with all of them. You parent your daughter, and there are mini games. It's a lot of fun. Playing it on stream was not the first time I'd ever played it. But it sure is a fun time.
Yeah, I think I've seen Hales played that one.
Mm-hmm.
That and I think she spent a whole lot of time going, "Oh my lord!"
It's a very very silly game. Squirrel, I recommend it. It's a very fun time. It's a very fun time.
I think I would pay to watch Squirrel play that one on stream.
It's a lot of fun. I think let's see what other games that I've been playing on stream. So I've been playing Hades on stream. I haven't played it in a minute, but I think I've got like 55 attempts, and I'm not the end of the world yet. I'm not super good at it. I'm not super good. I feel like I'm not good at games in general. I enjoy playing them, but I'm not like like I think in the little intro you said something about being like a master strategist in Baldur's Gate 3, and that's very flattering. But basically it's just me clicking on stuff, and I'm like, can I do this? Can I do this thing? Oh, that didn't work. Yikes. So that's kind of how games go for me often. But it's a fun time.
I don't see anything wrong with that. That sounds like master strategy to me.
Listen, we do what we can. I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3 on stream, my Dark Urge run, which is the first Dark Urge run I've done. This is my second run of the game. And I'm in Act 3, but I haven't finished that run on stream yet. But when I did finish Baldur's Gate 3 for the first time that I played it through, that was a powerful game moment for me. but I'm looking forward to seeing what the ending will be like on this run that I'm playing, because it'll be totally different. I'm looking forward to the end of Hades as well, mostly because I'm tired of getting my ass beat by that old
man. Daddy issues.
Daddy issues for real. Oh, I've also really been enjoying playing Vampire Therapist. I should probably give that a shout out. It's another visual novel game, but it's I don't know how close I am to the end. I playing it on stream the first time I've played it ever. But it's a really good time so far.
It's been a very feral time.
Some of the more recent Vampire Therapist streams, yes. I'll that.
Those get a little spicy there.
They do. I think that's what I like about the game so much, is that it's this whole like concept of like a vampire therapist, or like vampires getting getting therapy or whatever. But it also I think it has a good balance of kind of like the serious moments, but also all of the like campy sexiness that you want from a vampire story. Essentially, I think it's great. I'm like, yeah, the vampires are doing therapy at the combination goth club kink dungeon. Yeah, absolutely. Where else would vampires get their therapy? Honestly.
I have no idea. I don't know where you sit around, you drink blood all day. Where do you go to get therapy for the things that you do? I have no clue. None.
It has been fun. It's also been fun playing it like as a therapist. And I always say this, like when I do one of those streams, that I'm not playing it as a therapist with like a super critical, like, well, this is accurate or this is inaccurate kind of thing, because also it's a game.
It's a game.
Therapy, y'all. It's concept aside, like, it's a game. It's not real. So I don't feel very precious about kind of therapy or how it's used in the game. Although I think it's done really well in the game for like in the context of the game and everything.
Right.
But I do feel very normally I'm not really self-conscious about not being good at games, and I don't say that with any kind of like kind of self
no,
like self-deprecating way, just in a for me, it's not about being good or whatever. It's just about enjoying what I'm doing. But I do sweat a little bit in the therapy sessions in the game because the main kind of thing that you do is identify cognitive distortions. And when I misidentify one, I'm like, oh no, I'm a failure. I should have known that one.
It's fine. I don't see that as being a big issue. It happens, right? Nobody's perfect. Hello, Misfits of Mayhem. Welcome in. Good night, Green Emerald. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your evening. Miss Hermeus Rose would like to know, if you had a warning label, what would it say?
I think it would be caution contains live bees. and then the bees would just be the things that I obsessively natter about, like the like pumpkin pie versus apple pie, or the right.
Okay. Making boiled peanuts correctly is definitely an art form, and one that should be left to professionals. So I'm there with you on that one. So don't feel bad.
Agreed. Agreed. But also, I just because I think it would be funny, not just because my nickname is Bees, but you can actually buy bees through the mail, which I have done before, and they come in a box, and there is in fact a label on it that says "Caution Live Bees." I have had to pick bees up from the post office before.
Oof, I imagine those mail carriers are glad they don't have to deliver those.
Yeah, definitely received some dirty looks. Like, why are you bringing us into this? Yeah. Why did you involve us in this transaction?
Right. Contains live bees. I like that. That is a good one. I would say is a live bee, but that's okay.
Is a live bee. Is 10,000 bees in a trench coat.
There you go. If you had to pick a superhero power, what would it be?
Classic question. I feel like I have to go with a classic answer. I think storm powers would be cool.
Storm powers.
Mm-hmm.
You really want to?
But I would use it to like just make like a soothing thunderstorm every night for me to go to sleep too. I will leave the badassery to actual Storm of the X-Men.
Okay, so I run a Minecraft server, and our current season of Minecraft has us doing a bunch of stuff with magic, and there are these 4 individuals who have decided that they are going to embody they formed up a group, and they are known as the mildly inconvenient wizards. Yes, mildly inconvenient wizards. And the mildly inconvenient Wizard of Water decided one day, as a practical joke, to set up a system to make it rain constantly. And so here I am running around on the server talking with people. I'm like, it's raining again? Why is it always raining all of a sudden? Man, this is like mildly inconvenient. And I hear, because he's in the voice chat with us at the time, that I'm like, man, this is like really inconvenient. And I hear him, he just starts laughing. He goes, would you say it's mildly inconvenient? I'm like, yes, I would say it's mildly. Son of a bitch. And he's just dying of laughter over there. I'm like, okay. Okay.
Jail.
I'm like, all right, you got me on that one. You win. You snuck that one by me. I didn't see that one coming by at all. The setup on that was too good. He spent like literally, we were running around playing together for like the better part of like 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time it's like just nonstop raining. I'm like, man, it never stops. I'm so tired of seeing the rain. And I'm like, you know what? I'm server admin. I'm tired of looking at the rain. So I actually turned the rain off. I'm like, weather or stop. And I'm like, there, no more rain. And then like 2 seconds later, it started back up again. I'm like, what the son of a...
Oh my god. I feel like I would get some sort of like, maybe a noise ordinance like violation from the neighbors of like, all of our dogs are constantly terrified because you put on a thunderstorm every night. But it wouldn't be like the thunder is directly overhead, like lightning clashing or whatever. It would be like raining with soothing rain, and the thunder would be far off enough to be like a gentle, soothing rumble from time
Well,
to time.
you say that, and it may be a gentle, soothing rumble for you, but it could be a torrential downpour for somebody else who's directly underneath where you summon that rain up.
Maybe. Well, no, I would be underneath the rain, but the actual thunder. Storms can be big. It can be like miles big. So
huge.
The good rain would be over me. And the thunder would be out, over a field where it wouldn't bother anybody. Like the direct lightning, thunder,
Right.
Be mildly inconvenient for my dog owning neighbors.
You know what?
Not on purpose. Not on purpose.
Oh, I had just talking about dogs. I had a dog that would absolutely just anytime it rained, they would just sit out there and howl.
Oh.
For no other reason than it was raining.
Bless.
They like to sing to the weather, and I'm like, what do you? And in the middle of the night, and it was like, oh my god, what is wrong with you, dog? I am going to. We're going to have some issues. Stop that. You always knew what kind of weather was coming because the dog would let you know. Okay, it's going to rain.
They do that. Scuppers, my cat, is pretty good about the rain and storm. She doesn't get too shaken up about it.
Oh, that's good. So, do you find your have you had a dog, or you always been a cat person?
No, we had a dog growing up. We had when my brother turned 10, and he's several years older than I am. When he turned 10 or 11, we got a miniature schnauzer. I don't know why the mini schnauzer was the choice. But he was, and his name was Winston, and I think he lived about 15 years.
I love the name.
He was a pretty good little dog. And then when I was about like 10 or 11, there was a feral cat in our neighborhood that had kittens. And then the feral cat was sadly hit by a car, and we knew she had kittens somewhere. So we went around and we found them, and we adopted 2 of them. My sister grabbed one, and I grabbed the other, and I rode home in my bicycle carrying her in a green bucket. And her name was Izzy.
Izzy. Any particular reason for the name, or just it sounded good?
I have no idea why I chose that name. As a 10, 11-year-old, I have no significance that I can think of now, at least, whatsoever. So
yeah, that's fair. That you can name an animal anything you want to name on.
Yeah. She lived to be 18. She died during the pandemic.
Oof.
She's very old.
Yeah, that's a long-lived cat.
But I adopted Scuppers about a month after Izzy died. And I think normally I maybe wouldn't have adopted another animal so soon, but it was in like June of 2020, and at the time I had 2 roommates, and they both worked in healthcare, and I was in grad school. I'd been let go from my job because of the pandemic,
right?
And So I was just like sitting at home by myself all day doing nothing. Like they both worked in like they had one was a pharmacist and one was a nurse, and they like had to go in to work. And so I was just like at home alone all day, and I was just like, I need another living creature.
Need company.
I need company. So I adopted little Scuppers. She was about 8 months old. She had um, she had been fostered after having kittens, and yeah, she's been here ever since. Queen of the castle, wreaking.
No regrets, right?
No regrets. She's a great little cat. She's a great little cat. She is little. She's only about 7.5 pounds.
Oh yeah, tiny thing. Like I've got two cats, but both of the cats I got are like 15 pounds a piece. They're behemoths.
Yeah, Izzy was probably like 11 or 12 pounds at her kind of like in her prime. Yeah. So Scuppers is little. I don't know why. And she's not like she's proportional. She doesn't have like the stubby legs.
Yeah.
She's small.
Wow.
Puzzle.
Hey, look, it's a bee on a flower. Yeah, see, this one had a bunch of like solid color areas. I'm like, okay, so not 700 pieces. I think we dropped it down to like. Oh, I don't know. We have the time to cover that question, Rose. Rose wants to know, what is something you can talk about for hours?
Oh my god. I can talk about for hours and hours. I can talk about bees. I can talk about Baldur's Gate 3. I can talk about theology. I can talk about Lord of the Rings. I can talk about mental health and social media. Take your pick.
Keep talking going for hours and hours and hours. Don't let it end. She wants to get the puzzle done. So, and she's like, oh, we're coming up on the end of Talk Tuesday, which we are. We're running into the last home stretch. He told you it. You turn around twice and it's done over before you're ready. Yeah, it's quick. It's probably the most popular thing is like, oh, it's over already, but we just got started. Yeah, unfortunately.
I just got on my soapbox.
We try not to get on soapboxes around here. Unless, of course, it's soapboxes about desserts. And then you know, by all means, get up on your soapbox.
Pie and bowl.
Yes. No, how you boil peanuts. What you don't do. It's fine. It's fine. Now, I think Rose has it set in her head that every puzzle on Talk Tuesday needs to be completed before it's the show can be over with.
I get that.
And so she gets a little wrapped up in like, make Talk Tuesday keep going so I can finish it up. It's okay if you want to run late, Nori. It's all right. We won't mind one bit.
So you ask the two final questions.
Yeah. So we have two final questions. They're kind of cornerstone questions, right? So we usually start off with like like every Talk Tuesday starts out the same way, right? It's where's your name come from and how did you get started streaming? That helps to set the groundwork as it is for you as a streamer, like because it helps for people to understand where you come from. Like, why did you start doing this thing? Is this something you're trying to make money at it, or is it just something you're screwing around and having fun with? Is it important to you? Is it not important? Like, these are all very burning questions to get to know and understand the person that we're interested in watching and learning about. I always find the answers very fascinating. I am huge on knowing the why people do the things that they do. Just because I am a very curious individual to start with. Like, I want to understand the decisions people make, like why you made that decision. Not that the decision's wrong. Like, I'm not here to say what you're doing is wrong. That's not for me to decide. I'm more interested in learning about why you decided to do the thing. Like, what's your perspective on things? Because I'm a big person, and I talk about it all the time. I'm huge about perspectives, right? I think the way we view our world around us, the way we interact with people, there's a big driving force to all of that, and all of that's based on perspective and that perspective has been carefully refined as you get older based on your own personal experiences and what you've learned along the way, and the people you interact with. Like, just the people you talk to will change how you view the world and how you want to interact with the world. So in order to make really informed decisions about anything, you really need to, at least as far as I'm concerned, you really need to know all of the story. And I say this because growing up, I used to listen to radio show, and one of the radio show's famous things I used to love to listen to was the guy that got up there and would tell you the rest of the story. Like, here's the thing that you didn't know about the guy who created the Slinky. And then he would tell you about this guy, and you're like, what is all of this got to do with anything? And then he gets up, and so finally he did this thing where he found the spring, stretched it out, and went, hey, look, it makes a Slinky. And, the Slinky was born, and now you know the rest of the story. And suddenly you have a much bigger picture of what this thing is. And I'm just using the Slinky as an example state here, right?
Sure.
So, but it doesn't change the fact that now, having sat here and talked with you, right? We got the few bits of stories up front and all those conversations. We now have a bigger picture of who Jory Bees is. So we now have the rest of the story, as it were. Not all of the story. Like, you're never going to learn all of the story in 3 hours, but you're going to get a much bigger picture of the story and the person behind it. It's always fun to watch how people interact with questions and whatnot. And so to that end, right, so we have the two final questions, and the two final questions, one of them is, and, we're well over halfway through 2024. So 2025 is also looming on the front. So between the end of this year and sometime the first half of next year, like any big events, streams, parties, plans, something that you want to raise awareness to, that's coming up for you on your horizon, like, hey, I want everybody to know about this. This is, you got anything like that you're planning on coming up in the very near future? I say near future, again, over the course of the next year.
I think stream-wise, this, like I said in the beginning, streaming is just something that I kind of got into doing because friends of mine were doing it. I'm not doing it to make money or be famous or anything like that. It's just a fun way of me. It's a fun way for me to interact with,
people,
all the amazing people that I've met online. But one thing that I have been thinking about doing is I'm having top surgery in October, and I am going to have a stream at some point celebrating that, and just as a way to kind of celebrate like the support that I've received from so many people, both in real life and online.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's meant a lot to me, to have that support of me as a
Right.
trans man. And um I don't. It's something I've. Oh, it's not something that I've planned meticulously yet. I'm still like noodling around, thinking it out. Um, but yeah, and I want to use that stream, whatever that looks like, um, not only to say thank you, but to kind of continue raising awareness um, for trans issues and what trans folks face, um, here in the U.S. and
Mm-hmm.
particularly kids. And so yeah, that will probably be in um, uh, probably sometime in November. And I wish I had more information to talk about to give
Do
about it.
don't. I mean, that's again. There. We don't. It doesn't have to be specific. It's just something like, hey, look, I'm doing this thing. I don't know exactly when,
Yeah,
but I'm doing this thing. So
yeah,
now you can start having that conversation. We can start having that conversation, and now you have people that are now okay. So we know sometime in the upcoming future, Jerry is going to do this really cool thing, and we definitely want to be there to support it, right? So like that's all that's really kind of looking for. It's just, hey,
oh yeah,
that let's get a heads up out here so we can start letting people know, so people can start getting excited for it. Because again, you're surrounded by a lot of friends who are very supportive, and we can only be supportive when we know what to be supportive about, and so we can get excited for you about
yeah.
these things that are coming up, and we want to be excited for the things that are coming up that are important to
Yeah.
you. And that's
That's
how that works.
and that's oh my god. Have you been listening in on my therapy sessions? No, that's but that I think
I
that's a lesson that I've been kind of like learning throughout. I think I thought I would be talking a lot more about being trans this evening, which is neither here nor there really. But for some reason, because that's just something that a lot of people just tend to ask me questions about, which is also fine. But but
Well, I mean, if it makes you feel any better,
it
we can ask you questions about that. But I think on the whole, we're more interested in bees as the
right
person, not bees as in
as a gender, yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah,
personally think
I
bees as a person is fantastic. Let's go,
thank
right?
you. Um, but kind of what kind of as I've been like transitioning like the process, one thing that's taught me is that like it is something that it to be shared, and like people can't be supportive of me um and celebrate that part of me if I don't share it with them. And so
Precisely.
that's kind of a big takeaway that I've had from that. That's been a really I think a really important lesson to learn.
And for the record, no, I don't
Just
listen in on your therapy sessions. But I am the digital engineer, so I go where the bites lead. uh, no, I get accused of a lot. I get accused of an awful lot of things. I'm like, okay, but you understand, like anybody can put two and two together and make a logical assumption to that. It's not hard. In learning to, I think learning to open up and share is probably one of the hardest things to learn for anybody. Especially in when you're concerned about what people might think of you. Being able to share is a really difficult thing to get used to, and then on top of that, being able to accept compliments is another difficult one to do. So It's always
you
a good time.
certainly have given me plenty of space to practice. And it's funny too, because that like comes up in like therapy, like with like my clients, and then it's just kind of like I leave those sessions and I'm like, well, Uno reverse time.
I think Rose just took two pieces that I was trying to put in place and put it down in front of me, so I couldn't get the points for it.
There's a stuck piece over in this corner here, and it's bugging me. Like, why is it stuck like that?
Oh, is it like off-centered? Yeah, for whatever reason, it does that occasionally. If you refresh the page, you'll have to sit back through the advertisements, but it'll sort itself out, and you can just ignore it. I don't know why they do it, but it does it on occasion. Like I ran into that, it was driving me nuts, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with that. I'm just going to reload. So I closed out of. I hid the window from Stream while I resetted everything. I'm like, no, I'm not dealing with that. That'll drive me nuts. It's just it won't sit because all the other pieces around it aren't doing. It's fine. It's fine, right? So our last question of the evening, and this is probably my favorite question because I plan on going back through all of the Talk Tuesdays and cataloging everybody's answers and putting it into like a big, here is a long-winded subject from a lot of fantastic streamers on. If you're trying to get started on streaming, here is a ton of advice. And the last question would be is if you had to give advice to yourself or to a new streamer coming up, it's that one piece of advice that you're like, oh, if only I had known this when I was starting, or I could tell somebody that, hey, when you're starting, here is the thing that don't spend too much time on. Don't do this, whatever. With that one piece of advice that would have really made getting going easier, or would have made your life better, or whatever, that cornerstone piece of advice, what would that be that you would give to somebody?
I would say especially when you're just starting, I guess it depends on what you're getting into streaming for. But if you're like me and it's just something you want to do for fun because your friends are doing it, you just want to get into it and be part of that community, just do it. Don't get caught up in like the look of your stream. I think that was one of the things I was like, I don't know how to make everything look all fancy and blah blah blah. And don't get caught up in that stuff. Just do it. Like it's fun to have the overlays, the layouts, and everything, and those can look really great. But don't, if you want to have just your game up there and then your face or your PNG or whatever, that is enough, and it's fine. Your friends will still want to watch your stream, and so don't get hung up on those details. You can figure all that out and update and make changes as you go. Right. But when you're getting started, don't let that be a barrier to doing something that you want to do.
Yeah, so just follow the old Nike axiom. Just do it.
Just do it. And I honestly think that's just good advice overall. Like if you're feeling nervous about it, if you're worried that nobody's gonna watch, it's like, well, you're starting out, so yeah, maybe a lot of people are probably not gonna watch it to begin, and that's okay. That's okay. Your friends will still come and watch, and that's what matters. If you're nervous about having your face, you don't have to put your face on. You don't have to put your face on stream.
Yeah, Lord knows I haven't stuck my face on. Well, I've stuck it on stream a couple of times, but not very many.
I've not. I'll have to like catch an elusive Nori face at one point, but
hang on. Yeah. I can. Which one? Which one? Let's just. No, that's the right one. And there we go. It's
There you
just a
go.
face. You know,
There's the Nori.
there's the Nori. It's not much, but I don't typically turn that on. But there you go.
Yeah. Well, and that's
Gasp!
the but yeah, that's the thing. Do it how you want to do it.
Right.
Don't get sucked into like the Twitter and YouTube, all these things like here are the things you have to do to be a great streamer, blah blah blah. Don't get sucked into all of that.
Don't fall in all the nonsense.
Especially if
Absolutely.
you're just here to have fun. If it's like a source of stress for you, don't let it be that.
Well, I think if it turns out to be a source of stress, I think honestly you're probably doing it wrong. Because if you're not having fun, why do it?
Right.
And that's usually my big statement to anybody at this point is, if you're not having fun at it, why are you doing it? Like all you're doing is just adding stress. You're making your life miserable. And quite frankly, I have been in streams where you can tell the streamer is not having fun at whatever they're doing, and it's like, why are you even doing it? Just stop, right? Just get out of it. Turn it off. Don't do that. Go do something else. You're not having fun at it, and I'm not enjoying watching somebody who's not having fun because all they're doing is just raging at the screen. And if I want to see somebody rage at a screen, there are literally a million YouTube videos out there of people losing their mind over a game that I can go watch. And I can just fast forward through the ones that I don't want to see because I've already seen them a million times. Like, yeah, who cares?
Right. I think, and Dell and I do this too. With, we'll say like, oh, like I don't know if I'm really feeling stream tonight. I kind of want to cancel, but I feel bad because people are expecting me to stream. And whenever either of us comes at each other with that, with like, oh, I really just am not feeling it. I feel like I want to cancel stream, but I don't know if I can. What we always say to each other is like, just do it. Like, just cancel.
Yeah,
you
just
don't
cancel.
know, like we watch you stream because we enjoy it, and if you're not there having a good time, then what is the point?
If you're not enjoying it, we're not going to enjoy it. So
right, it's much better to just if it's you like needing rest or whatever, like it's much better to go do that, get what you need, than force yourself to do something that's supposed to be fun and make it not fun.
Yep, there you go. That's it. Like that's the cornerstone. I think that's the big trick and I think that's the hardest part, especially for established streamers to get used to and get in mindset of is, because
for me, like I'm a very small potato streamer. It's easy to say like, I'll see you guys next time. Canceling tonight, but I getting in that mindset of like I have to do this tonight. But even the established streamers, like you don't owe it.
No.
People.
No, it's don't get me wrong. We enjoy when we see our favorite streamers come on. We get excited.
Oh sure.
I have spoken to a number of streamers that have fangirled or fanboyed over the opportunities to hang out and talk with some of their favorite streamers. That occasionally happens. I'm saying this and like the initial, it was so cute. Back in my starting days when I was getting like revved up and going, I put together a Valheim community server to play, and I convinced a Brotherfjord and a Swifty Squirrel to come play on the server with us. And the way I did it is I told Brotherfjord that I got Swifty Squirrel to come play, and I told Swifty that I got Brotherfjord to come play. And they lost their ever-loving mind over the fact that like, I get to have a chance to go play with this fantastic streamer. Like, yeah, they're going to be there. And I have never heard those two like squeal like they did. And they both lost their lost their mind over it, and it's fantastic. It's a good time. Yeah, Squirrel, you know exactly where this is going, but it's fine. Somebody ran off with a piece. There he goes.
There we go. Hey, look at that. That's so exciting.
You got the bee done. Puzzle complete. Right?
Amazing.
But this has been an absolute fantastic time. Thank you, bees, for taking time out and coming and spending time with us and letting us get to know the man on the other side of the camera. I'm going to turn that off for a second. So you have one last piece of business, and that is you have to pick the destination for this raid. Like, we have a bunch of people that have just learned all about jury bees, and we are going to take them somewhere, and we're going to tell them about Talk Tuesday, and then we're going to laugh at them because they missed out on the opportunity to learn about a jury bees.
Let's see who's on. Oh, let's see. Do you want me to just like message you the
No, if they're not somebody I know, then you can just type their name in chat. If they're somebody I know, then you can just tell me them.
I don't know if there's someone you know, so I'll put them in chat.
There you go.
But,
just stick their name in chat.
D&D Jordan Lee is playing Hades.
Oh, yeah, I don't know this person, so this is going to be a new friend.
New friend. Amazing.
All right. Well, we will go and say hi to this D&D Jordan Lee. Anything else you would like to say to these fantastic people who have come out here and hung out with us this evening before we take off?
The only thing I have to say is thank you for coming out, hanging out, putting the puzzle together, and listening to me yammer.
It has been an absolute delight and a thrill. I have enjoyed every moment of it. I can't speak for everybody else, but I'm fairly certain since they all have stuck around to the very end, they have enjoyed absolutely every moment of it. You have been an absolute delightful guest, Bee, and I appreciate your time.
That's what they used to put on my report card when I was a kid. An absolute delight to have in class.
That's right. An absolute delight. It was an absolutely enjoyable time.
Thanks, everyone.
See, and you're like, I won't have anything interesting to talk about. I won't be interesting at all. You were very interesting. We have been enthralled and engaged this entire time.
Amazing. Well, I'm glad.
All right. So what's going to happen next is I'm going to deafen and then hit the end screen. You're welcome to hang out, or you can go take off and go do your own thing at this point, because at this point I'm just going to get things wrapped up for the raid and send these amazing people off to the next destination. So it's been a pleasure, Bees. I look forward to seeing you in even more of your streams as we move forward. Wait, before we can, no, wait. You can't go away just yet. I forgot. There's traditions still. There are traditions. Oh, yeah, my little thing is doing funny things. Stop that. Don't do that. All right. So first we do the standard Twitch shout out. So up in the top corner, there's a little heart that just showed up. If that thing is not lit up, you guys are doing it wrong. How would you, how in the world can you catch a Jerry B stream and watch this fantastic streamer out there doing amazing things? If that's not lit up, you're not following him so you can see him over there in your list of people that are streaming. Seriously. And because this is the only time, other than people rating in, that a shout out happens, we will get everybody yes, that one. There we go. We'll do a video shout out.
Hey. What
in the world? Why is that?
Clip will come up. Oh my god, no, not the exploding udders clip.
Yes, the exploding butters. There we go. I don't want their udders to explode. Yes.
Explode?
I was like, why was I sitting on top? Oh, yeah, because I forgot to move because I had to set up a different screen. But that's fine. It's fine. We got it fixed up. It's all good. Once again, Bees, it has been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to hit the deafen, and we're going to send these people on off the way. Thank you. You have been a delightful guest this evening, and I look forward to talking with you again.
Thanks, Nori.
Say bye, chat.
Bye, chat.
And there's the end screen. Oh, you guys have been fantastic. You've been amazing. You have been wonderful. You have been everything we could ever hope for, and then some. We are wrapping up with a huge shout out and a big thank you to our special guest, Jerry Bees, who've taken 3 hours of their time out to come spend with us to learn all about, so we can learn all about them. It has been an enjoyable, absolutely enjoyable evening spent with them. I hope that you guys have had fun. I hope you guys have learned some things, because I've learned an awful lot from this evening's Talk Tuesday. Again, it's been fantastic. It's been wonderful. Now, up next, we are going to go right over to, I've done forgotten the name already. D&D Jordan Lee. We're going to go say hi. It looks like they're doing a little bit of Hades, so that'll be fun. So some daddy issues on the line for us as we drop on over there. Don't forget to let them know that while we are coming in on the raid, we are raiding in on behalf of Jerry Bees, to let them know that it's Jerry Bees who sent us their way. Now, that being said, Friday, we are still doing our normal shenanigan mess on Friday. Saturday is still more Storied Saturdays, and we are doing BG3. However, the big thing on the list that we need to talk about is next week's Talk Tuesday. Next week's Talk Tuesday is not happening. Next week, we are doing a birthday stream here on Tuesday. In fact, it's going to be my birthday stream next week on Talk instead of Talk Tuesday. So we're taking Talk Tuesday off next week on Tuesday, and instead I'm replacing with a birthday stream. So come by, hang out. We're going to do a bunch of community games. We're going to sit around and play games with everybody. I'm going to sit in a Discord call, and we'll have people popping in and out. You all are welcome to come in and hang out and have a blast. We're going to do everything from Gartic Phone to golf with your friends to whatever else that we can get in on. It is going to be chaotic. It is going to be a mess. There's going to be lots of laughing, lots of giggling, lots of just having wonderful fun. And I look forward to hanging out with each and every last one of you. It's going to be a good time. So get prepped, get ready. We'll swing into action at, I don't know, 5 Eastern? Maybe 4. Maybe we'll go for a little bit longer. Maybe we'll start earlier and run later. I don't know. We'll see. When I have more information, I will put it up there, I promise. But yes, next week's Talk Tuesday is not going to be a thing. We're going to be doing a birthday stream instead. That being said, the following Tuesday after that, we have Oh Shine Bright is our next guest star for Talk Tuesday. So lots of fun things coming. Lots of interesting things. Big shout outs to our new follower, the Carrot Run Rig. Thank you for the sub. And our raid from Hermaeus Rose. You fantastic, lovely lady. Thank you for bringing in all of your fantastic people in here to come hang out with us. Let's get this raid kicked off and going. Let's go say hi to... Will be chaos of the... Yes, and I may see if I can't pick up like Jackbox games. So we'll have several different like community style games that we can play. But let's kick this raid off. So the first raid message is for all of you lovely subscribers. The second one's for all you lovely followers. Whichever one you can grab it, copy it, get ready to paste it, get ready to slap it. I still need to make up an actual Talk Tuesday raid. I promise I will get on that. Now that I've got an extra week to sit around and think about it, I'll come up with something. Oh, this is going to be fun. But yes, let's go say hi to D&D Jordan Lee. Let's tell him all about Talk Tuesday. We're going to tell him all about Jerry B's and the fantastic time that we've had this evening. And until next time, continue to be the fantastic, fabulous, and amazing people that I already know you are. And until next time, well, you know how this goes. Bye for now.